And what's up, everybody? We are live for the Indie Games Podcast, a very special edition of the Indie Games Podcast today. As you can see, and as I've been raving about on Twitter for the last few days, excuse all the posts, but the excitement was real. We have got a very special guest today, someone who I've enjoyed a ton of content from over the last few years, someone I've looked up to greatly. But I'll get to his intro in just a second. I'm going to go with the panel first, and I'm classing VJ as a panel, as he's an honorary member basically today. But we're going to start with my man Judzilla firstly. Special occasion today. But I'm really looking forward to this one. How are you doing, Juds? Looking forward to chatting with you today with some more indie game goodness. How's it going, bro?
Absolutely, my friend. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm really looking forward to this. Getting Raelia on is absolutely awesome. And the man, the legend, VJ, fantastic chat again. We got some regulars and some new people. Welcome to everybody. And I can't wait to get going. Let's get going, man.
Awesome, brother. Fantastic. I'm very excited to be doing this with you again. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you very much for being part of it. And as Judd's mentioned, we have VJ back on the show. Always a pleasure. We had him on for the last Hollow Knight interview we did with Lef on the show, which was awesome. And yes, we had to have him on for that. We've had him on a few times otherwise, but that was a great one. And I thought it would be a good sort of repeat of that today to get him back on for this one, because I know he loves his Hollow Knight goodness just like myself. And so yes, how are you doing, VJ? How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I just wanted to say it's an absolute honour and a privilege to be on your show, good sir, along with you and Judd. And and it's about time we've had another guest of, how can I put it, messianic status, right, on the show. So welcome to your,
definitely.
Your guest.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Vijay. Yes, indeed. It is certainly time for an esteemed guest. It's great to get one back on. We have actually been trying to get this sorted for a little while. Been speaking to this awesome guy for a while in the kind of Discord DMs, actually, mostly. But yeah, today we have got him, someone I've enjoyed so much content from, someone I've enjoyed as he's a Hollow Knight creator, but he's just an awesome, down-to-earth guy as well. He's got a massive following of 144,000 subscribers, which is pretty damn epic, well-deserved as well for the content he creates. He does great streams, he does Hollow Knight tutorials, just awesome all-round. I'm sure you've checked him out already, guys, but if you haven't, definitely get on that. The links are down below. But I would just like to welcome today Raelia onto the show. Absolute pleasure to have you on, my friend. How are you doing?
Yo, I am doing so good. Thank you so much for having me on. Like, seriously, I've been looking forward to this for so long. Like you said, we've been talking about this since mid last year.
Yes.
And time zones, you know, I'm over in Pacific Standard Time and you're on the other side of the world, and we couldn't figure it out, and I'm glad that we could make this happen.
Definitely, my friend. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Yeah, we have been working on it a while. A few changes in your particular setup has made it a little bit easier, I believe, with the YouTube going full time and all that. That's definitely helped things, I think. But yeah, excited to have you, my friend, because, you know, you're all about Hollow Knight, and I cannot wait to dive into those topics with you. Super excited to hear your thoughts on everything. But I've also noticed a ton of indie games content coming up on your channel as well, so very excited to, you know, chat indie games broadly as well with you, because you know, you've built a lot of a big community around the Hollow Knight stuff, but I like to see all this other indie game content you're doing as well now, so that's awesome to see, and I'm very excited to chat with that about you today.
Yes, I can't wait.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much again for being part of it. So guys, we've got a few topics to cram in today. We're going to keep things moving because we want to get through quite a bit, but I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has came out already. You are awesome. It's great to see so many great people in. Thank you very much for coming by. I'm going to quickly actually round up this poll which I've popped into the chat. It was kind of like a pre-show poll about when do you think Silksong will release. It's a bit of fun, but we're just going to get the results in now. So I'm going to end that poll and we will find out. But yeah, I just want to shout out a few of you guys. Great to see Dapper Dog Digital in, who is the developer of Biogun, which is a game we will talk about a bit later later on. And I know Raelia checked out on his channel, looks awesome. And also great to see Blizmo in, a big Hollow Knight fan. Mir8901, Ori MNA, great to see you again, my friend. Matt Burns in the house, Stubbs Gaming, Faceless, and all of you other guys. Monkey Punch in the house, great to see you coming by. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Let's get the results of this poll then. Just a bit of fun, as I say, but a lot of people still hopeful for a 2022 release from Silksong, it seems. We've got 42% thinking it's going to come in the second half of 2022. Interesting stuff. Some people still think it might come in the first half. That is very hopeful, and I love the excitement. Some people saying 24% in the 2023 and 2024 or beyond 4%. So yeah, kind of interesting to see a lot of people thinking still the 2022 is on the cards, which is exciting. That would be amazing. What do you think about that, guys? Those results probably pretty standard. Yeah, I mean,
that would be epic.
It would, wouldn't it? I know you're chomping at the bit to get onto that on your channel as well, because you've got such a thriving community around, you know, that content. So you want to share that with all of them, I'm sure. And you're such a big fan of it as well. So I imagine you're even more keen maybe than a lot of people.
No, I told my wife, as soon as it launches, like I'm gone. Pretend like I'm gonna be working like 24/7. Slide my food under the door. Leave me be for a little bit.
Most definitely, absolutely. And we're going to all be relying on you in a lot of ways, because you have a lot of people's backs. So you're going to have to be on the case, I'm guessing. Team Cherry are going to have to hook you up early, I'm guessing, to try and get those tutorials in the bag.
I wish. I don't know if we'll be able to get all that, but yeah, I don't know. I'll see what I can get.
Love it.
I'll take whatever I can get.
That is awesome, buddy. Yeah, I know I did look you up a few times on a few things. So yeah, that was how I found you in the first place, I do believe, and probably a lot of people in the same way. But Hollow Knight's one of those games where you don't feel too bad looking up things, because it's the doing at the end of the day. You've got to make it happen yourself, even though you haven't looked stuff up. Absolutely. But yeah, love your channel in general, obviously. But yeah, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to move straight on into a bit of a first topic. It's kind of going to be a bit of a get to know Relyea. He's an awesome guy, as I've said. I'm sure many of you guys might have checked out his channel already, but maybe you haven't had this kind of background insight into how he got started and stuff like that. I'm very interested to know. So we're going to kind of move into our first topic, which is kind of based around kind of like getting to know Relyea. I'm interested to know, you've been doing Hollow Knight for a while, but I don't think that was where it started on your channel. I do believe anyway. But yeah, what got you into kind of like content creation in the first place? And, what got you then into, Hollow Knight so much so that you kind of devoted your channel to it for a while, I do believe. And now you're broadening it out a little bit more nowadays, I believe. But yeah, what kind of got you started, my friend?
Yeah, so thank you so much again. I started about 5 years ago, and I originally started making Zelda Breath of Wild content. And a big part of it was I was just really tired of watching just really bad tutorials. Like, people would just like tell me about like, oh, sorry, I haven't posted in a week, my dog this, and we're gonna be doing this other thing next. It's just like, dude, I'm here for a tutorial. Just tell me what I need to know. I don't care who you are yet. Like,
yeah,
let's get on with it. So that's kind of why I started. I was just tired of watching other people's bad tutorials. Not that every tutorial out there is bad, but there's enough of them that are bad. And so that's kind of why I started. And I actually did always start with the intention of eventually going full time. So I always did treat it very seriously, making videos. When I first started, I was still finishing up college for accounting.
Awesome.
And I was doing this after work. I already had a wife and one baby at that point.
Right.
And just did it in my free time. After free time. There's no free time. I did it after work.
Awesome.
So
that's fantastic. Yeah, that's cool. It's interesting to hear that you kind of really approached it, focused approach from the start, which is interesting. I think that's a great way to do it in a way. You know what you want to do with it, and you can almost look at it like a business in a way. But you're having a lot of fun with it. It's not business like. It's kind of very informal, isn't it? Obviously, but still, I know what you mean in that regard, though. Definitely. Yeah, so you did Breath of the Wild. Were you kind of doing streams at the first point, or was it kind of just videos? I can't remember what you were doing at the start.
It's interesting. It was always kind of very similar to what I'm doing now, but it's a lot more trial and error to start.
Right.
So I did everything based on analytics. I went to Google, Google Analytics. I would see like what was trending for whichever games, and I would try to make the videos that people were searching for. So even now, like some of my first videos that were they're god awful. They're so bad. Just like the audio is just like so bad that it's not rendered properly. My intro's far too like everything. But some of those videos actually still were getting views because the core content was there.
Awesome.
I just need to learn how to make content, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's interesting. And it's funny because you say you very much the analytics. That's very typical of an accountant way of doing things, I would say.
Yep.
You're using the numbers to work with your, approach. I like that. Using your strengths well there, sir. But obviously you've got the charming personality which most accountants don't have. So to say the least. But yeah, no, that works awesome. But yeah, so what was the transition into Hollow Knight? Was it just that you just tried out this game one day and then all of a sudden it was like, wow, I love this, I'm gonna have to double down on this particular game? Or did you see an opportunity kind of thing?
Yeah, so like I said, it was a lot of trial and error. So after Zelda Breath of Wild, I mean, I did everything from Call of Duty, Sea of Thieves, and like a bunch of other games, and it was always tutorials on these games. And then at some point I started doing either a Let's Play of Hollow Knight or I did a tutorial or two of it, and it did just slightly better than everything else that I was doing. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's try this out. And I made a couple more videos, and it was just, I mean, it's not like it was blowing up overnight, but I just started making more and more videos for it, and it was doing so well that I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna double down on this with like 10 videos and see how it goes from there. And it just kept doing better and better.
Awesome.
So then okay, you can go. My son just woke up and needed to go potty. You're good.
No, all good.
And so yeah, I just kept going for it, and and then the rest is history.
Absolutely, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, maybe a lot of it came down to it's a tough game, and we need someone like you to step in sometimes and get us through those hard times. So maybe that's a good opportunity in that regard as well with Hollow Knight. It's a smaller game as well, but it's growing in obviously popularity all the time. It's almost started out quite small, didn't it, when it first came out, and it's grown and grown. I think that's how it seems. And then obviously when there's you can have two, like say Call of Duty, there's too many people around that game almost to get seen. With Hollow Knight, you've got like a a bit more of a niche sort of thing where you can be the big fish in the little pond or whatever. Maybe that was something to do with it as well.
Very much so. So there was a couple of different things that kind of all lined up together at once. One of them is that I didn't start playing the game when I first heard about it. A buddy of mine at the military base, because I'm in the Air Force Reserves, told me about the game, and I didn't check it out until it released on the Nintendo Switch a year after launch, right?
Right.
And then once I started playing it, I got stuck trying to find, I don't even think it was a King's brand. It was probably the Shade Cloak.
Right.
And I didn't know that to get the Shade Cloak, you need the King's brand. In order to get King's brand, you need to get double jump.
Sure.
And so I could not find a single video that said how to find this one thing. And it made me so upset that I'm like, that's why I decided that I was going to do tutorials on Hollow Knight. That's what it was. I got so upset that I couldn't find anything as just quick and to the point. I was going through like 2-hour-long live streams of somebody's just like, yeah, we found King's brand. I'm like, okay, where in the video did this guy find this thing? And then having to scrub backwards of them getting lost.
Totally.
Oh, it was a nightmare.
It's like trying to find the good part of my podcasts, basically. But yeah, I totally know what you mean. You just want it to the point when especially when it's a tutorial, don't you? You just want to know the answer to the question that you're asking, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Respect people's time and all that sort of thing. But yeah, great stuff. That's fantastic. But yeah, so your love was already born by the time you started doing those tutorials for Hollow Knight, was it?
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah, I was already invested into the game for myself. But then when I couldn't find stuff, I'm like, oh, easy. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Definitely. No, that's awesome. So, yeah, now you kind of just to get the kind of more up to date kind of part of the story. You've moved. Would you agree that you're trying to broaden it a little bit? Obviously, you're not moving away from Hollow Knight, and you're not going to be moving away from Silksong. That would be insane to do that. But you are just maybe broadening it a little bit these days to go.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it within the same genre, generally speaking, as far as single player games that are more so on the indie side. That I find that they're just interesting. I like the art, etc., etc. And the reason being, there's only so much Hollow Knight you can do. It's not like that the game doesn't have its own updates and its own stuff going on. But luckily, there's a huge, amazing community of modders who are adding new content to the game really, really regularly. And so I've been getting into modded runs of the game as far as random rooms, random items, random enemies. There's a AK thing for it. Like there's a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, so you got like guns and everything in Hollow Knight. Yeah, I've seen some of those crazy things. So they're quite fun, are they? I've not dived into any.
Definitely. So I'm definitely starting to broaden out a little bit. I'm trying to find I'm testing the waters, trying to do like an 80-20, trying to figure out which game do I want to do the next deep dive into. I think Tunic is going to be the next one that I really get into while we wait for Silksong. But hey, I hate to do this. I need like 30 seconds.
No problem at all.
Finished using the restroom and I have to go do dad duties. So I will be 1 second.
That is no problem at all, my friend. Absolutely no problem. So guys, have you ever looked up a VJ tutorial, a Raelia tutorial? Excuse me, VJ. Did you, when you were on your journey, will you admit to it? Did you look up a Raelia tutorial?
I'll be totally honest with you, Indy. I did struggle sort of tying up loose ends and trying to find fragments and charms. And I mean, I struggled to find my way out of Dirtmouth. I was so frustrated that there weren't even any signposts to get me out of there. So you actually said to me, go and watch some of this sage dude looking person on YouTube with a giant tash, and I thought he was related to Freddie Mercury. Yeah. But he did. This dude did help me, sort of guide me to eventual success, and obviously with your help as well. And I think his name was Relyea or something.
I think it probably was, like that, but you wouldn't recognise him these days. Where did the tash go?
I don't know.
So yeah, that's.
I love it, Freddie.
Yeah, well,
I'm not gonna lie.
Do you miss it really?
I really do. The main reason that I had to shave it is, like I said, I'm in the Air Force Reserves,
right?
And so when pandemic stuff was going on, everyone was wearing face masks. So when I went up to my military base 1 weekend a month, it's not super often, nobody knew I was growing out a mustache while I was up at the military base. Literally nobody knew. Every once in a while I'd pull down my face mask and people would be like, whoa, what's going on here?
Tom Selleck is in the house.
Yeah, exactly. But most of the people didn't know, or if I wasn't like at my unit with the people who I work with on a daily basis, nobody would have known, right? So it wasn't a big deal. But now guidelines are kind of in flux. Everything's changing depending on whatever's happening. So the military allowed mustache looks so awful.
Really?
I can't do it to myself. I can't.
You want a bit more debonair. Is that what it is? You're stepping out of their realm. Yeah, they're a bit. It's like my friend who used to work for British Airways. They have to have quite a tight sort of what they're allowed on their face, facial hair wise. Yeah, but no, it was a good tash though. It's very impressive, I have to say. But it divided your crowd though, didn't it? I think a lot of people wanted it to stay.
I got 4 more years.
Nice. So you'll be tashing it up after that time, will you?
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully it won't be Silksong's release date in 4 years.
Oh my God.
Brilliant stuff. No, that's great. Interesting to hear all that stuff. Thank you very much for giving us that insight. Definitely loved that. As I was saying, and I think Judd said actually at the start, guys, in the chat, thank you so much for being here as well, by the way. But if you have any questions for Raelia along the way, definitely feel free to drop them in the chat. I hope he doesn't mind. I haven't actually checked that with him, but he can decline to answer, I guess. But yeah, feel free to drop them. I'm sure it'll be good. But yeah, Judzilla will keep an eye on the chat for any questions along the way. But yeah, feel free to drop any, and he'll keep an eye out for that. Anything you wanted to add, Juds, before we move off of this topic? I know I think you might get looked down on a little bit here by Raelia because you're at the start of Hollow Knight and you're still, but we can work on you.
No, well, firstly to the chat, obviously, put some questions in if you like. I'll look out for them. No facial hair related questions. Okay, because we'll be down a rabbit hole and Indy will be talking for the next 20 minutes on the facial hair. So it's interesting actually. When if you ever talk to Indy like this, real time, he's got 2 questions for you. Number 1 is what's your favorite indie game. Number 2 is why is it Hollow Knight? That's it.
Why is it not?
So I admit it. I am a neophyte as far as this is concerned. So this topic, meeting Raelia and listening to you guys is awesome. I'm very interested to hear more about it. Definitely. I've only probably unlocked 5 or 6 areas, and I know Indy knows my memory. I've no idea what they're called. I just sort of go the bit with the sort of weird green stuff and all that.
Green path, yeah.
That's how we go. Yeah,
I think your problem, just if you don't mind, I think your issue is you do a bit of it and you go into another game and then you come back to it, and I think Hollow Knight is a game where you can't go away and come back. I don't know if Raelia would disagree with that, but I think you kind of have to stay engaged because it make
it harder for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
no, I agree with that.
I know it's hard though, it's so much choice these days, but
it's the mad buffet of gaming at the minute, isn't it? But in answer to your question earlier, so I'm the sort of person that really doesn't like looking up tutorials and stuff, but right near the beginning, or quite near the beginning, I did look up one of Raelia's videos because I couldn't find the dash, and I found that. I was like, oh wow, this is awesome. But I've not watched another Hollow Knight tutorial video because I thought I'll try it on my own. But I'm probably gonna have to
definitely
go back and check your stuff.
Definitely. I almost didn't publish that video. I almost thought, I'm like, man, this is the first ability in the game. It's so early that I'm like, what if, like, people won't even need this? It's so like, this is just like a whatever. I feel like this is, I don't know if this is just filler. Like, are people gonna be upset that I made this video and all this other stuff? Now it's at like 200 or 300,000 views.
Oh my god!
I'm like,
nice.
oh well, good thing I made that video.
I guess the more people, there's most people playing at the start, and some tally off, don't they? If we see like the achievements are like lower and lower the more further into the game. So I guess that's the thinking behind that, isn't it? There's more people to check it out, but.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
there's always going to be some muppet in England going, I can't do this dash.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't hold your hand, as we've said I think I've said that about 1 billion times on our podcast. Hollow Knight does not hold your hand in any way. And
that's really good, and the exploration and stuff is very cool.
Exactly.
But I've not been playing it so long, so I do need to go back to it, guys.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot. I just wanted to kind of highlight that you need to get on it.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not upset. I'm jealous because you get to experience it for the first time. It's awesome.
Definitely.
That's true, but you're probably not jealous of the daily DMs that Indy sends you going, have you played it yet? Have you played it? You're back on it. You're back on it.
Love it. That's fantastic. Good stuff. That was great to get to know the about the behind the scenes behind Raelia there. Fantastic. We're going to move along. We're going to, like I say, try and get through a few topics. This one is going to be definitely an interesting one, and one I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's takes on, and that is basically simply Hollow Knight as a topic and what makes it special. So I'm pretty sure everyone's going to have some takes on this one. We would be awful not to go straight to our guest Raelia, but I know VJ is going to have a lot of things because he's in love with this game as well. So let's hear what Raelia's got to say about what do you think it is that kind of makes Hollow Knight special, my friend?
Man, it hits almost everything that you could like talk about when it comes to like when you share a game or you review something with a buddy of yours. Like it hits every single topic and it's just like, yes, everything it hits it just right. The boss fights are amazing. The like how big the game is so good. The music is obvious, like it's so on point. Christopher Larkin did an amazing job. But I think one of the things that really got me is one, the atmosphere of like how different each area is without being like crazy over the top in each different area, and two, the game's not lazy with its design, and by that I mean like with the enemies when you go into different areas. There's so many it's not just like an indie thing. It's just when you're making a big game, it's easy to just do a reskin of a different enemy that is, instead of red, it's blue. Instead of taking one hit, it takes three, and it does the exact same projectile attack. And Hollow Knight doesn't cut corners in that way. They really made every area feel distinct and special, with not only just the way it looks and the music and the enemies, like, and the bosses. Like, it's just, oh man, it's just so good.
Yeah, it's the coming together of it of so many things, isn't it? I know what you're saying. It really is. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing when it just becomes great, as VJ would say, greater than the sum of its parts, I believe.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I know VJ said that in the past, but I love that saying, and it's so true for Hollow Knight, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that's great. That's great takes, my friend. Let's just we can come back up maybe for another whip on this one, but I would love to hear what VJ's got to say, because we've had many conversation about how much we love this game, and just, you know, in just like chats at late at night, haven't we, VJ? So yeah, what is it you think? You know, can you boil it down to anything, or, you know, what is it that makes Hollow Knight special for you?
Personally, like, I mean, the experience I can talk about a little bit, right? I mean, it's nothing short of being must, right? I.e., astonishing, just pure radiance, if I can say that. Only Hollow Knight players will get to know what I'm trying to say there. But I mean, there's very few developers you come across that you haven't heard of and you play their game, and it's definitely, Hollow Knight is Team Cherry's, right now as it stands, right, quintessential magnus opus. And I had to be convinced by Indy to try it, right? I suggested to him, look, you know, my hand and my eye coordination isn't quite what it used to be. And I kind of tried to sort of just tell him to leave me alone. And then so he just kept plugging away. And then anyway, I kind of, you know, landed in Dirtmouth, and I thought, you know, I said, what is this dingy place? It's like rummaging around in someone's dirty underwear. But and then I bumped into Hornet, right? And I recall telling Indy, this bird needs to have a game of her own, and the rest is history. This is
there
all
we
true,
go.
really.
It was all your idea, Silksong, the sequel, wasn't it? Or not sequel, maybe.
And,
Love it.
as I was saying to Indy, when you disappeared for a second, Raelia, I did struggle with the game. It'd been so many years, I think as far back as Alex Kidd probably, or Sonic, or one of those games, right, that I played a tough 2D game, and you know, trying to find just simple things like the fragments and charms. You know, I had to go over and watch your show when you had that giant tash and everything, right? And I think it was a distinguished look, to be quite honest with you. But for me, you know, I don't want to I feel kind of awkward, because I don't want to be the guy that's sitting here, you know, because I don't like to sort of, like Indy does, like impose or impress or sort of sermonize as to why you must play this game, otherwise I'll never be your friend. And I would just say, look, you know, there's a lot of gamers out there since Indy's told me about this game that I've said to them, look, try this game out. It's in Game Pass or whatever, right? Or it's in PlayStation Plus. And but I do come up against some of that resistance, right? Where gamers have been conditioned, right, into sort of just enjoy what they're sort of very much used to. But yeah, for me, in terms of you know, any sort of artistic endeavor, whether it's, you know, literature, music, and art. And in this case, video games. So it's to a degree combines all of those, right, to a really super high standard. And I think if you trust Relyea and he's got tons and tons of followers, and you like Indy, or if you don't, give this game a fair and equitable shot, is what I would say. You know, for me, you know, I think that just if you can just do away with your preconceptions of video gaming and so on and so forth, I think you'll just have a fantastic time with it. And we can speak about it for ages, but it really does hold a really sort of how can I say, it's a place in my heart, really. So I don't want to sound too soppy, you know what I mean? But, nice. But yeah, it's a fantastic game. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to what Team Cherry's got in store going forward.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're going to get into Silksong later as well, by the way, guys. Just to let you know, we've got that as a topic to finish up. That's going to be kind of like the finishing. We will get there, I promise. And yeah, but like, yeah, Hollow Knight is It is just special. It's hard to pin it down because there is so many elements to it that come together so well. Definitely well said there, though, VJ. I know how much it means to you as well, and it's hard to kind of break down in a way. But I know how much you do love Hornet as well. So thinking that Silksong's going to be your, it's going to blow you away, I think.
I just want to say just one other. Just before we came across Hornet, I think you come across Cornifer first, right? Is that right?
Yes, right, yeah.
And I'm not being funny, but when I bumped into that bloke, right, and I thought, if this dude can brave the world of hollowness, then surely I can conquer the land, right? Unless I'm a complete wuss, right?
Yeah.
And again, when I finished it, I mean, just something Raelia said, but I just want to point. It was a poignant a bit of information said. It is full of magic and majesty, and then again, it just culminates in a masterpiece of a game. I'll just shut up now.
Nice. I love it. I love hearing you talk about it, VJ, because we've talked for hours about it, haven't we? So it's captivating game. It's magical, and it's understated in a way as well, I think, which is the amazingness of it. It doesn't try and be too in your face. I think it's just I love boss battles myself, so it nails boss battles, and the art style, just everything. The music, obviously, is just incredible. To me, it's just a perfect game. There's not many perfect games out there, and I would say Hollow Knight is definitely one of them. I would put it in the 10 out of 10 category. I would put maybe BioShock could sneak just behind it or something, 9.5 or something. I don't know. I feel like it blows BioShock away. I used to have that as quite high for me, but not many games are as good as Hollow Knight, in my opinion. And Silksong is looking even more tasty. It just when I was looking, say again, sorry.
Sorry, I'm just excited.
Yeah, man.
Like,
I love it.
Yes.
I love that. I think it is looking. Oh, so you said right. Sorry, I just caught that. I mean, when you just look, I know it's only art, but I was looking at the art side by side in someone's thumbnail randomly the other day, just the original, and then you got Silksong by the side of it, and it just looks like a step above. So we don't know if you'd agree with that. The Silksong art is looking spectacular, in my opinion. But yeah, don't know how you feel about that.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I mean,
wait.
we can't. No, the Silksong art does look. It does look so good. It does look like it is. Like you said, it's a step above. It's even. Man,
step
all the way
above
around.
perfection.
Not only just the like the fan art, like everyone's just so hyped on it, and it's hard not to just get like swept up in it,
It's so true, definitely. And we're definitely not going to leave Judsy Baby out of this. Judzilla, have you got any takes about what you think makes Hollow Knight special? Maybe from a more of a person who's not gone all in and finished the game, etc. But yeah, have you got any takes on this one, my friend?
Absolutely, yeah. I've got takes on most things, and I've got a question for Raelia after this for Maury. So, yeah, for me, you guys have pretty much summed up pretty good, to be honest with you. Some of its parts are great in the whole and all that. But for me, it's the music's just beautiful. As a musical person myself, twinned with the art style. I absolutely love the art style. And then the exploration, it gives you things at a good pace as well. And when areas open up and, the aesthetic changes, it's just fantastic exploring through it, and you always feel rewarded as well. And when you don't get to an area, or you do get hit, or you die, or whatever it is, it's not the game's fault. You know what you did or what you didn't do correctly. It's your fault, and it's a case of, well, not your fault, but it's a case of okay, I've got to go back and learn. I've got to practice. Like some of those jumps I was telling you about with the spikes on the wall, Indy, and I'm like, I just can't get past this bit. But yeah, you practice it and you get it, and then that feeling of reward. So for me, it's the whole thing. I just adore the music as well as part of the art. So yeah, I love the game. I just I need to get back to it. It's absolutely true. So we do have a question for Raelia though from Ori. And he says, does he mind going into the origin of the lo-fi music?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Forgot about that.
So when I was not only studying to become an accountant, but also just working super long hours, lo-fi music was just always a great way for me to just focus. You know what I mean? Just having something to listen to that was had a simple beat to it, so in that way I could just kind of focus. That's all it was. And so I was so interested into it for a very long time. At some point I thought, well, I would love to hear more gaming focused lo-fi music, and so I hired actually 5 different producers on Fiverr at various different levels of like cost and stuff like that, to hear like what it is they can produce based on different songs. Long story short, I found one person who I really, really liked, And so I've made that very clear that I'm not the one who's making the music. Even if you look in the description, I always give all the credit. Like, I own the music. I technically don't even have to do that, but I always do it just to pay it forward, right? So I went through a distribution company called DistroKid, which will then I upload the music to there. They get me the cover license for the song. And essentially, because I don't, when we got the music made, I said, hey, do not sample any of the original music. It's supposed to be just a straight cover. So because it's not sampling anything, everything's good to go for, it can all be distributed through DistroKid. So it goes on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes Music and a ton of different places. And then if there's any sales, they will actually take the percentage revenue and give it to whoever the original owner of the music is. So Christopher Larkin for Hollow Knight music, nice. And so on and so forth with some of the other different songs that are out there.
Awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, the one thing that I think that I'm not allowed to do, which I'm stopping now. I'm not putting the lo-fi music on my streams anymore because I found out that basically I can distribute it through DistroKid, and that gives me the cover license, and anything that they distribute is good to go. But if I put it on my streams, I don't have what's called a sync license. So technically, basically that sync license is syncing music to a video or literally anything else. You're not allowed to do that. Yeah, there's so many weird licenses with music. So once I found out that was a thing, I'm like, oh, I better not do that anymore.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, definitely. I forgot to mention that. We mentioned that earlier. So, Raelia, if anyone doesn't know, Raelia's got a lo-fi channel of its dedicated music, like he's just mentioned all about. But yeah, just if it's a separate channel, if you didn't know that, guys, Raelia Lo-Fi, definitely check that channel out. I'll add that to the other channel link in the description, actually, guys, after, because I haven't actually put that there. But yeah, check it out because it's some cool, chill music, and there's some really good stuff on that as well. Definitely enjoy. So yeah. Was there any other questions in there, Juds, that you wanted to shout out at the moment, or are we moving forward, buddy?
Nothing at the moment, I don't think. Yeah,
good stuff. Yep, excellent stuff. Lots of people have good takes. Their music is great from Russian Pivo. Lots of great comments coming in, guys. Thank you so much for all of your great insights and being here in general. Lots of love for Hollow Knight all coming together. I love that. It's awesome to see. So we should keep this moving, because I think we are doing. Judge is actually going to be shocked at how we're keeping it moving. It's pretty good. I mean, is there anything before we move off of Hollow Knight itself that you wanted to add in there? Because actually, Judd's brought up a really good point, I think, about the exploration that I didn't mention. I thought I'd just go over that again quickly, because that is kind of, if I had to say one thing, maybe in a sort of like gameplay sort of thing. I mean, obviously I love boss fights and everything. They're so well done, but the exploration and the feeling in that feeling is really well done, I think, in Hollow Knight. You know, it doesn't hold your hand, and that's for a reason, so that you do have that feeling of exploration. Probably quite similar to a lot of these Souls games. Speaking of Souls games that VJ is playing at the moment, Elden Ring, it probably has a similar kind of feel to that in that regard, being the Souls-like nature. But I don't know about that. You guys, you feel that sort of sense of discovery in Hollow Knight is strong?
Oh, 100%. So Hollow Knight, like, that's like the best thing about, or one of the best things about Hollow Knight is a discovery, right?
Definitely.
Like, I remember specifically getting into the City of Tears and realizing that somehow that I wasn't even like halfway done with the game, and I'm just like, wow, the game is just so massive, and the discovery for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I remember getting to that. Like, it's just like you feel like you're almost at the end, but then you've only just started, almost, if you didn't know about the length of the game. Like on my first playthrough, I went for everything in my first go, if you see what I mean. Although I won't go into the percentage right now, because you'll probably say, get back to the Pantheons. Well, 108%. I think VJ's on the same. So, but the Pantheons, man, I'm gonna go back. I promise you, Raelia, I promise.
Disconnecting you as a friend.
But, abused. Dude, yeah, exactly. No, I think I will go back, to be fair. Like, and it's like it's a never, ongoing thing. It's just like you got to come back with a bit of energy. Though I might have to kind of like have a bit of practice before I get to the, the level I was at. But anyway. anyway, I think we're going to keep this moving and move on to the next topic. We're going to move away from Hollow Knight for a bit, and we are going to come back to Silksong after this. But now we're actually going to talk about some indie games, and specifically the Steam Next Fest, which has been happening over the last week, and it's still actually going on until I believe the end of this week. So yeah, basically Steam Next Fest is a event which they run sort of every quarter-ish, I believe, on Steam, and you can download as many games as you like. If you saw my stream the other day, I did checked out a few games. I checked out 3 games in the end because I was really enjoying them, so I didn't move off them actually that much. But yeah, really enjoyed checking out those ones. And also, I believe Raelia was checking out some stuff on his channel as well, diving into demos. You can still download demos on Steam at the moment, as I say, so definitely feel free to do that. But we're actually going to chat about some of the games we checked out, and I'm going to also bring up some trailers from ones that we should check out as well. So I'm going to fire this one straight over to Raelia and see if there's any games of note. I know that we did have someone in the chat earlier from the game Biogun. I don't know if they're still hanging out with the developer of that game, but that was definitely one of the games I believe Raelia was really enjoying on his channel. But yeah, any games from Steam Next Fest? Did you enjoy the event so far, my friend? Anything you want to mention about it?
Yeah.
Good
yeah,
stuff.
I really enjoyed the event. Like it almost feels like bringing E3 home to a certain extent. Obviously, it's not AAA games and it's the indie games, but I feel like there's just so much more. And just being able to enjoy them and download, like pick and go through all the demos and find something. You're like, oh, I don't know how that's gonna go. I played through almost 20 indie games in the last couple of days through the different demos, and most of them are like, dang, they exceeded my expectations of whatever I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I'm really hyped. If you haven't tried Steam Next Fest or gotten into the demos, definitely worth checking out. Yeah, I ran a poll on my YouTube channel, and I think it was something like 70 or 80% of people didn't even know that it was a thing or what it was.
Yeah, I saw that poll. I was one of the yes people. But yeah, it was a bit of a shame to see that much of a percentage didn't know what it was all about. That's quite surprising.
Yeah, and it's newer. I think it was out last year, and I don't remember if it was out the year before. Yeah. I don't know. Is it newer, or maybe I'm new to it?
Last year I did like 3 of them, I think, or something like that. So maybe it started last year, to be fair. I haven't done anything before that year, I think. I'm not sure if it was actually started last year or not, but that was the first time I tucked into it, I guess.
Yeah, same here. So I'm sure it must be newer if we're only just getting in on it.
Yeah.
So that said, like I said, I got in almost 20 different games. I'm gonna cheat and look at my my Steam games that I played. But Hubris is a VR game that's a little bit more. I don't know if it's completely open world, because you know how intros to games are. I think it ends up being more open world. It looks as good as Half-Life Alyx. So if you played VR games, that's one to definitely look into.
Judzilla likes VR games, so that might be one for you, buddy.
Oh, yes. Judd, did you check that one out?
I haven't, no, but I certainly will be this weekend.
Oh, do it for sure. So good.
Nice.
Let's see, Core Keeper. That one was really fun. That one's more of like Stardew Valley multiplayer, because you can have up to 8 people playing at the same time. I can't wait till they get that one like dialed in, because it had it was having some lag issues for people who are joining in on me. And it might have been maybe they just live further away, and like if I'm the host, maybe they're going off of my quote-unquote server, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So, but that said, it was really fun, more fun than I was expecting. And basically, whatever you do in the game, whether it's farming or mining or crafting or build, whatever it is, like everything that you do is constantly working on increasing your levels and stuff like that, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, it was pretty. It was fun. The music was great. I enjoyed it a lot.
Nice. Yeah, nice. That's cool. You dived into quite a few then. 20 games. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, that's a nice.
Let's see if just real quick.
I'm gonna
what stood out.
I'm gonna bring up one quickly, because I know you. I know you checked this one out as well. It's called Islets. It's on screen at the moment, guys. If you wonder, it's a Metroidvania. I really enjoyed this one. I wonder what you thought about this one, actually, because I didn't get your take.
I like this one a lot. There was one issue that I had with it, and it wasn't the game. I don't know if it was on my end or what. My controller just wouldn't work for the game.
Oh, really?
And I have had this issues on like other indie games in
Right.
the past, like what was it, Haiku the Robot?
Oh,
Whatever
okay.
reason, controller didn't work.
What controller do you use out of interest?
Just an Xbox controller.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm using an Xbox Series
yeah.
controller. And it was okay on my end, but was it the Series controller you've got, or?
It maybe, but actually, I tried multiple different controllers. Like I said, it wasn't them. It's
Yeah.
a me issue.
Sure.
For Haiku, they ended up updating the game, and just one day it started working.
I
So,
see. Cool.
that's the only downside, because I really like the game, but I had to do it with a keyboard and mouse, and I am
Right.
Not proficient with
I'm
the
not
keyboard
either.
and mouse. It's like
Yeah.
I'm playing video games for the first time. Or something.
Yeah, that's like me as well.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
I'm the same, man. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm just really used to controller. Do you got console background? Have you more than PC or?
Oh, way heavy, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I played a little bit of like StarCraft back in the day, but I didn't really play PC games. I was always console, and I played almost all the consoles. I was lucky growing up having all of them.
Nice. That sounds good. Yeah. Actually, what have you got any that you were going to mention otherwise? Out of interest.
Let's see. What were a couple of my top? Silt was amazing. That was kind of like Limbo.
Awesome.
If you're into that like 2D kind of dark whatever. Biogun was super fun. More than what I was expecting. That one's definitely going to be one that's worth playing. It's a twin stick shooter, right?
Definitely. It looks so good, that one. I didn't actually try that one because I noticed you had tried it. I thought, as for today, I would try some different, if you know what I mean. I'm definitely going to be trying it. I've downloaded that one. But you tried Far Changing Tides as well, didn't you, I believe?
Yes, I did. I did try Far Changing Tides. I wasn't sure what to expect. I feel like that one might not. I don't know how much I'll play. Like, I don't know if I'll play the entire game on my channel, or I'll play a little bit. What's nice is there's not long, but decent amounts of periods where there's not tons and tons going on. So it's nice to be able to just hang out with chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like there's
I know what you mean.
times where it's just scenic.
Yeah.
And you just get to slow down and just enjoy what's there.
Yeah, good game to stream then.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So you got time to just kind of hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's a really kind of got a relaxing vibe, hasn't it, to it? So that's definitely. It's got kind of desaturated kind of art style. Reminds me a bit of the art style of like Inside almost. But it's got strong like copper in there as well, which I think they're trying to accentuate the steampunk maybe-ish kind of vibe of it. But yeah. It looks interesting. I really quite interested by this one. I think Juds, you were quite keen on this one, weren't you, actually, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of my picks.
Nice.
Actually, just a quick recommendation for everybody in the chat. If you want to go and look at what Silt looks like on Raelia's channel, I think it's last week, put a video up. And there's an incredibly special manly scream at the beginning of that video, which I think you're all going to enjoy quite a lot.
Definitely. There's a lot of those on your channel, I believe, isn't there, Raelia?
I don't do scary games. I get scared so easy. I don't like when I play video games. I'm so honed in and focused and like I'm in it. And so when something the music changes real quick or something jumps at me, like it came through the screen and got me. You know what I mean?
Yes, I totally know.
Okay,
getting worked up just thinking about it.
Honestly, I think next podcast we need a poll to say, is that justified? I can understand it in VR. I've literally had heart attack. Well, I haven't literally had heart attack.
Yeah,
but I've been very scared in VR.
That's a bit scary.
But I don't think Silt would have that effect on me. But perhaps we need a second opinion from the chat.
Well, I thought I was in a safe place. I like when that thing happened, I thought that little shark thing or whatever it was, I could have swore I'd swam next to them before, and I was literally just telling a story of how scary it is to be like underwater and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is, but in real life, I love water. Like I grew up doing swim team and water polo. I was a lifeguard at a pool type place, like a wave water park, and then I was a lifeguard at the beach. So I'm very much active and in the water. But man, water and video games? Shoot, how many of you guys played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back on the original Nintendo?
Yes, I remember that.
You know
level.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, totally.
When you're drowning over and over again?
Yeah.
Super Mario 64, when you're coins and you start running out of air?
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog and the music? Dun, 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 dun,
Totally.
dun, dun.
That scarred you for life.
Yo, I'm scarred, all right?
There's definitely 2D water that gives you the fright.
Yeah, it's 2D. Yeah, that's interesting. Have you played Inside, Raelia? or have you not?
I did.
How do you feel about the water parts on that one? Same as this, probably.
Yeah, nope, terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Definitely, that's funny. I love it. Like the Sonic one, yeah, that can definitely put a little scare into you. With that music, the Jaws music. Love
I'm
it.
still trying to build up the courage to play through. Oh man, what's the underwater game? You crash land on a planet, and they just did an ice version of it. Subnautica.
Oh right,
Subnautica had just did their second
Zero.
version.
Below Zero, yeah, I think it
Below
is.
Zero. I haven't built up the courage to do Below Zero yet.
Nice. That'd be pretty cool though. I love it. Let's actually going to fire one over quickly to Judd's, and we come back to you, Raelia, if you've got some more, because I know I've got one here lined up for him. He was interested in. I think he played a bit of Batoria Lost Haven, if I'm not mistaken. Would that be correct, sir?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. This is one of the games that we saw at the Guerrilla Collective when we did that show last year, Indy. And I'm just going to read the tagline.
Okay.
Because I could sit here and explain it, but just listen to this. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Batoria Lost Haven combines the features of a hack and slash and a twin-stick shooter in a non-linear, interplanetary, story-driven action RPG.
Wow, one thing I've just determined is that you should do some voice acting.
100%.
That's
pretty good.
But the interesting thing about this game, well, let me get the one negative I have from it. I didn't get to play too much. My work schedule's been pretty crazy. I played Mortal Right a little bit as well.
Yeah.
I want to get Silt for the weekend if it's still going. But this particular game, my first gripe, or my only gripe so far, is the voice acting, funnily enough, of the main wizened character, Batoria, if that's how you say it.
Yep.
The rest of the voice acting is fantastic, but this is like, if someone asks you to do a wizened old grandma voice, this is what it sounds like. And it kind of... Yeah, it just annoyed me. Anyway,
Really?
But the actual game is really good. It's colourful. It's got some excellent abilities. You can swap between sun and moon kind of abilities, they're called, and you target the enemies with the different colours.
Nice.
Good exploration, excellent narrative. Storytelling is really good in the game as well, and it's just fun to play. So
yeah, it looks good. Is it like a co-op game? Is it?
I don't know if it's co-op. It might be co-op.
It looks like it's got a vibe with that, doesn't it? Like it almost looks like Torchlight or something, a bit like that, doesn't it? If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In that
I'm not sure because I just did single player on it. But if it is co-op, then
that could be
get
fun.
the game. We'll play it. We should stream it if that's the case.
Sounds good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No, that's a great
really
shout.
good.
Yeah, it looks cool actually. I didn't notice it myself. There's so many games in there, isn't there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh my god, finding sifting through them. But yeah, they're great. That's a great shout, buddy. VJ, did you ever? You don't indulge in the Steam world, do you? But you know, what do you think of these like events anyway? Because you know there was one on Xbox last time. How do you feel about these demo events in general?
No, I think they're amazing. I think they're really, really important for the community, right, and for the indie and for the gaming community and the development community. But I'm just still taken aback by Relylea's revelation. He completed 20 titles in a matter of days, and that many games consumed in a short period of time is definitely a young man's prerogative and privilege. From afar, it's impressive dedication to video games, right? And it kind of makes me want to. Put these bigger, larger games that can sort of suck the life out of you in terms of the amount of hours that they take to go and play loads of other different video games, so you can just broaden your horizons generally. Yeah. But
no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, obviously the big games like Elden Ring is awesome because that game is doing its own thing, in my opinion. Games, I'm going to slag off Ubisoft again, but like Ubisoft for me is just so bland. But when you've got games, From Software, they do awesome games, in my opinion. So don't.
And people, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but people think that they're a huge, sprawling, moneyed up studio. They're not. They're actually quite small teams. So,
really.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, most definitely. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm just going to actually it wasn't actually in the Steam Next Fest, But I did want to bring up one other game which is getting a lot of attention lately, which is awesome to see, which is a game that was in Kickstarter. I know Raelia has actually checked out the demo of it and had an interview with the developer as well. He doesn't know that I'm going to bring this one up, but I just thought I'd bring it up in this context. And that is, Bo, I've forgotten the name of it now, the Teal Lotus. I believe you've checked that one out. So it's in Kickstarter at the moment, and it's blown away its target. I think it's like 500% or something. Like the target was 20k or something. It's got like over 100k or something. I don't know.
It's 135 or 140k right now. Yeah,
crazy.
They're working on their 150k goal, and the next one is going to make it so they have like an end game plus.
Nice, that is awesome. Yeah, and I just thought it'd be cool to bring it up because I think this game looks absolutely stunning. I've shown this to VJ as well because he loves his Japanese stuff, and it's inspired by Japanese folklore, isn't it? And it's a Metroidvania. It's got like the hints of Hollow Knight in there, but it's obviously got a completely different art style, and the Japanese elements I think are cool. So, I mean, you spoke to the developer, and you've actually played the game. What do you think of this one, my friend?
I like it a lot. I think that they've got something good on their hands, and I'm really excited to see just play more and get deeper into the game. Sometimes it's hard to tell when you're still playing the early alpha build of a game that's still in its Kickstarter phase, because if you look at how much Hollow Knight changed from its Kickstarter to what was actually released, sometimes you have to kind of say, okay, well, some of this stuff I'm expecting it to get better.
Sure.
And sometimes you don't know how much better certain things are going to be or not be or whatever else. So I always kind of have to. I'm hoping, like, even just from what we see here, I'm very much excited, and I like what they have going. The controls feel great. The enemies are looking good, and it feels fresh. It feels good. I like it.
Nice. Yeah, no, I mean, you play Hollow Knight a heck of a lot, probably more than anyone I can imagine. You know what I mean? You stream it a lot. You do the Pantheons all the time and stuff for your streams and stuff like that. So yeah, the feeling you'll be very tuned into, and you can have a good feeling, a vibe of whether it feels right and stuff like that. I suppose that can be a little bit of a crux maybe sometimes because you're like naturally going to compare it to Hollow Knight, I suppose, and it might have a different feel to it. But yeah, like it's 2023 September they're targeting, isn't it, for the release? So they've got a bit of time still.
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, it looks beautiful. They're drawing a lot of inspiration from some of my favorite games like Celeste as well. That's another one of my great favorite games, but also Akami as well, which is not actually one of my favorite games. I haven't played it, so it might be if I played it, but that's obviously the Japanese element coming into there. I'm interested actually to know about VJ because I sort of flashed it past him last night, and I'm not referring to my own body there. I'm referring to the game. Just to clarify. Yeah. So yeah, basically, I'm interested to know what you think about this, VJ, because obviously you love Hollow Knight and you love Japanese folklore. You love Japanese in general. So what do you think?
Yeah, you know what? Initially, I mean, it's intriguing. Initially, I thought because of the narrator's accent, I thought it was American, and I've kind of veered away from sort of Western takes on Japanese movies or video games and so on and so forth. And but it was interesting. Then I saw on the Kickstarter that hang on a minute, this game's based out of Thailand, and then the video you sent me, you could see that there's obviously some ethnicity in the gentleman and the way he looks and so on and so forth. And it's interesting. Yeah, I'm not my loquacious best today, but that's because I'm all starstruck with Relyea on the show. All these superstars from San Diego. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do. It's New Hollywood. Anyway, it's it looks really interesting, but I'll probably just wait until Relyea puts out the videos on how to complete this thing before I pick it up. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, if someone like him, thinks it's probably on his wish list or on his list of intriguing games that he'd like to try, then who am I to argue?
Yeah, no, it looks magnificent in my opinion. I love these. I mean, some people are not so keen on it, but it's almost like there's become like a new genre of like hollow likes, if you know what I mean. I don't know if you'd agree. I imagine you've seen that probably quite distinctly Raelia, I would say, from your perspective. There's a lot of games being inspired by Hollow Knight, and you can almost it's become its own genre almost. Obviously, you've got Crowsworn, and quite a few others. I think that's not too bad as long as it's not too close to the source. But how do you feel about that in general, just quickly?
Yeah, no, I honestly, I think that's not a bad thing, because I think that Hollow Knight wasn't necessarily the most original thing ever, right?
Yeah,
Hollow Knight
exactly.
just took a lot of different ideas and put them together, and it just felt really good. And so now, every time anybody sees anything that's in Hollow Knight, it's just like, well, that was just a mashup of previous ideas, and so people are going to keep mashing up. More power to them.
Yeah.
Like, take good ideas and run with the good ideas. I think
Totally.
that's what we should do. So
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Hey, I am going to throw a huge monkey wrench into things that's going on right now.
Yep.
Being a dad and all that kind of stuff. My daughter is waking up from her nap and she's crying in the other room, and I can't just leave her in the other room crying.
Right, no worries. That's all good.
Unfortunately, yes.
No problem.
Unfortunately, I do have to jump off, but I feel like you guys will be able to continue on with the next fest demos and stuff like that. So
No problem
yes,
at all, my friend. That's fine.
I have to apologize.
That's all right. No problem at all. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, so we'll
Family
just wind.
first.
Sorry.
I was just saying family first, absolutely.
Family first, absolutely. Yeah, no problem, Ray. That's absolutely no problem at all. We've got, we had a good hour of chat, and it's been an absolute pleasure. I think we'll carry it on, guys, if that's all right. But we'll say goodbye to Raelia, and a massive thank you, my friend, for coming on. Everyone probably knows who you are anyway, but once again, been an absolute pleasure and a bucket list tick off for me for sure. But would you like to shout out where they can find you? I'm pretty sure everyone knows anyway, but give us yourself a little shout out if you like, my friend.
Yeah, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Relyea, Relyea, and then also the same for Discord, discord.gg/Relyea. Either way works. And yeah, go live every Tuesday, Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But yeah, where things might be changing. We're trying to figure out what next steps for schedules and stuff are going to look like. But like I said, I'm going to step out.
No
Thank you guys so
worries.
much. This was
Thank
really
you.
awesome, and I'll talk to you again more real soon.
Absolutely. Thanks
bye.
so much, buddy. Take care. Good stuff. Okay, guys, so we are left with the final topic.
I was going to say, I didn't get the chance to ask him for my autograph.
His autograph. We can sort that out. All good.
As I tell you, these West Coast Hollywood types, I'm telling you.
I know. It's all good. We've had a blast. We can still carry this on if you're all right with that, guys. Is that okay?
Yep,
Yep. Fantastic. Okay. Well, we've got basically. Is there any other things you would like to mention about the next fest, guys, before we move on to the final topic, I guess? Was there anything you want to mention about Steam Next Fest, or anything with regards to just indie games in general, kind of, broadly, before we move on to targeting the beloved Silksong action?
Yeah, I think there's a game that you streamed the other night, and if everyone in the chat missed Indy's streams, go check them out. They're really good fun. It's always one more go, an hour into that's just one more go. And we're supposed to have done like 8 or 9 games, and he's on the second game, so it's always one more go. It's really cool. But
which one was that?
Moolander.
Oh, nice, my friend. I'll pull that up for you, actually.
Yeah.
Good shout. Thanks for prompting me. So, so the game, Ori is just asked in the chat, what was the game I just showed? It is Bow, the Path of the Teal Lotus. Do you want to write that out? I'll write that out quickly. But yeah, so Moolander is on the screen, my friend. It was a blast, actually. I had a real good fun time with this. You played it yourself? Did you download it?
No, well, I downloaded it, but I got a weird error. So I've got a disk write error when I was downloading it on Steam, but I've got a ton of space on my disk. And I obviously played Batora and the other stuff, but this one just will not install. So I'm gonna have to have a.
Definitely. I recommend it. It's very quirky. It's got a good sense of humor. You can probably tell with all the cows and everything going on in the trailer, but even more so when you play it. The voice acting is very comical, and sometimes you get stuck running around, jumping and attacking or whatever in games. It's always the same, maybe, although it's very cool. But this game, it's that you're flying a spacecraft with like I didn't say that.
You need cow's milk.
You need the cow's milk in the game. But
milk.
it's just it's very charming and it's a lot of fun, but also actually feels good to play, which I think is awesome. So yeah, definitely recommend Moolander Spring 2022 as well. But actually, before we move away from this, that was reminding me that I didn't mention another game which I checked out the other night, which is called Shooter's Blood and Teeth, which is Warhammer 40k Shooter's Blood and Teeth, mind you. This game, I actually played the previous game by the same developer, which is Guns, Gore and Cannoli, and I highly recommend checking that out. There's number 1 and number 2. Number 2 feels quite a lot like this game now, this new game, which is basically not being in negative in any way. It's a bit of a reskin, but it's obviously got a lot of personality difference, but it's very much the same game with a different tone and different characters and different. So yeah, if you've played Guns, Gore and Cannoli, you'll know what this one feels like. Both feel really, really fun. I really recommend Guns, Gore and Cannoli 2 as well. That has got loads of charm. It's got like it's 1920s gangster sort of vibes, and it's like all the comedy aspects. It's very funny, and yeah, just a really cool game to play. And it's also co-op, and this one as well. Shooter's Blood and Teeth by the same developer. I recommend this one as well. It's a total blast, and yeah, just like a blast is probably the best way of describing this, because it's just simply, you just go in there. It's like an arcade machine almost, you know what I mean? And you'd play with friends, have a great time, and it's that kind of simplicity, and it's just got a lot of character to it. But yeah, I reckon we should hook up and play, some of this together, because it's got the co-op elements. What do you reckon?
Absolutely, yeah. Moolander's 4-player co-op as well.
Is it? Oh, I didn't know that. Nice.
Contender. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, so that is pretty damn cool. Let's just check if there's any others I haven't mentioned. Yeah, I did do a stream the other day as well, guys, about the Steam Next Fest. So if you wanted to check out in full any of the games I played, including this one, definitely feel free to check out that one after as well. Also, I just now I think about it, I also wanted to do a couple of giveaways today. I didn't advertise it on Twitter or anything like that, because I don't want to lure people in for a giveaway, if you know what I mean. I want to do a giveaway to people who are actually watching the content anyway, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to do a couple of giveaways towards the end. I'm just literally going to drop a few codes into the chat. So they are Steam codes, by the way. One of them will have Borderlands 3. So that's quite a juicy little game, which has got the director's cut as well. These are basically games that I've got through my Humble Bundle, but I've decided I'm going to give them away instead. Because of time, basically, and I want to just give back a little bit to you awesome people who have come out to support. It means a lot. So there's a few different games. I've got Paradise Lost as well, which is a cool narrative-based game. I've got Black Book in there. It's basically the Humble Bundle from this month, but I'm going to drop the codes into the chat at some point, and they are Steam codes, so all you need to do is go to Steam and redeem them, and I'll let you know what they are as they come out. But there's several different games, so just to let you know, that will be happening. If you do want any of those codes, keep an eye out, and I'll drop them, and then all you have to do is redeem on Steam. Okay, so let's move forward then, guys, and into our final topic, which I'm sure is going to be nice and juicy. A bit of Silksong action. So obviously this is I know VJ is chomping at the bit for this one, I'm sure of it. So yeah, like I say, we're moving into a Silksong discussion here. This, obviously most anticipated game for myself, most anticipated game for VJ. Would that be correct?
Sorry?
Would it be your most anticipated game, sir? Have I just put words into your mouth, maybe?
Yeah, I think it has been for quite a while now.
Awesome.
So yeah, the simple answer is yes.
Awesome, very good stuff. Yeah, so I mean, we were going to obviously this with the Raelia, obviously the family called, so no problem. So we're going to do it with us, and I'm sure we'll dive into many aspects, basically about what we're looking forward to, what we'd kind of love to see featured in the game of Hollow Knight Silksong. We've obviously played Hollow Knight, and what elements would we maybe like to see more fleshed out, or what would you like to see returning and just being there again? What would we like to see maybe different if we wanted to say, change it up a bit in the new game? basically, yeah, like I say, what we're hoping to see, our hopes and dreams for Silksong. And I think it would be very sensible to throw this one to Mr. VJ first and see what he is looking forward to or hoping to see, kind of a wish list maybe from what we're going to see in Silksong. So how do you feel about that?
I don't know about a wish list, but if ever there was going to be sort of a god's tempter, right, to help unbutton a hot and radiant nun's outfit, Silksong might be it.
VJ's very frisky today, I think.
I'm really trying hard to sort of subtly reference Hollow Knight, guys, and that's not going over.
I love it.
Sorry, but on a serious note, there was something that Raelia said, right? He said, look, people saying, oh, Hollow Knight is one of a kind and it's, unique and so on and so on. And he went on to mention, hey, look, guys, it's many games that have been released in the past and it's a mashup. But what Hollow Knight did, it just took, maybe it was a mashup, right? And that's probably being a little bit impolite, but I just think that they just took everything to another level. In terms of what they combined together from their inspirations of previous games, and all developers do that at the end of the day. So that's what they managed to do, and for me, sort of based on the trailer, and I've watched it many times, and I'm sure Indy's watched it about 500 times.
Yeah, more than that probably.
Since watching that trailer, then going away and then sort of having some thoughts about it, not just about Hornet, obviously. It's for me, I get this feeling that they've made a smart decision in terms of not just making a sequel per se, but another experience from the same studio. So, for example, and I don't know if this is a good example, but I'll try my best anyway, and maybe you guys can help me out. But it's like if you played Bloodborne and then Sekiro, very different yet brilliant games in their own right. And so I think, like in a similar sense, that these two games, obviously Hollow Knight's out now, and then Silksong's eventual release, they're both going to sort of stem and arise from that sort of same creative pool or sort of imagination field, if that makes sense. So more of the same, but yet completely different. Because again, Raelia mentioned something else, right? To Judd, was that he was quite jealous, right? That Judd gets to experience this like for the first time, and and I don't think that sentiment was misplaced. So I would definitely take that on board, Judd, when you're playing through the game, because it's been a long time for Indy, especially, and probably Relyea as well, right? If he's played it all the way back on the Switch, having to wait for Silksong, but your wait might not be as long, right?
Yeah.
And, so I'm hoping that both things, in terms of what I've just said, could be true, and you can suggest otherwise. So sort of looking at through my prism, right? Because it's just obviously my opinion and my perception of Hollow Knight, right? It's which is quite wonky, right? Nearly as wonky as the squeaky bit between my legs, but I think it could be. I think it could be a really special game that's perhaps far more than what we can imagine or hope for, and that's why Indy, I'm kind of loath to say I want this, I want that. Penultimately, sort of not penultimately, I said I just think, as I said at the beginning of the show, or I don't know if it was sort of before we went live, that it's Hollow Knight's Team Cherry's quintessential sort of magnus opus, and for me it's been a real eye opener. So thank you, Indy, for introducing me to that game, and I'm just hoping that lightning strikes twice. I
mean, my pleasure, my friend. I love being able to talk to people like yourself about the game, because it adds so much more to it. I think that's the great thing about the Hollow Knight game itself. It's created this amazing community, and that's the thing with like cult games kind of thing, or niche games. They get a strong community. My God, I got gas. Oh dear. So yeah, they better have that strong community who are die-hard fans, and it becomes awesome, because there's like people trying to work out the lore. Obviously, you got Mossbag, the amazing YouTuber, as well as Raelia. Mossbag handles all the lore videos, and then he's got an amazing following, obviously, and people around that, they're sort of speculating what everything means, and it's sort of because it's got understated and it's not in your face storytelling. It leaves sort of a bit of room for interpretation sometimes and things like that. So it makes the community really engaged, I think, which I think is awesome.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, if you've got a bit of gas, it does help to scratch your bottle and glass.
Oh dear. Love it, love it. So just gonna let you know, guys, I've obviously dropped a key for Paradise Lost. It's a narrative game with an alternate reality around World War II, I believe. Definitely recommend it if you like story-driven games. And grab that. What is this password? What is this password? What does that mean? Not sure what that means. Yeah, so it's a key. Just drop it into Steam and you'll redeem the code. Basically, just all you need is the copy and paste that key into Steam and it will be a game for you guys. So feel free to grab that if you want it. Let me know if you grab it so I know it's been grabbed. Otherwise, you know, I'll then know to give it to somebody else, etc. Yeah, feel free to grab that, guys. Cheers. And what was I going to say? Yeah, so yeah, I mean, like it's. If going back to you, VJ, if you don't mind, because I loved what you said, but you know, is there is there any elements like that you feel could be improved on or anything like that? So I'll ask you a really straight question.
It's been a bit of a while. It was such a unique and perfect experience. Indeed, it's really hard to criticize Hollow Knight, when, especially when you know it's only been made by a couple of guys, right?
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult. But as I said to you, is that in the trailer that we saw, right, it's going to be a very different experience. I want there to be sort of more conversations with the NPCs, because every time you come across an NPC in Hollow Knight, you don't know what to expect, and you know they've got something interesting to say, and it's that just to immerse me more within that universe, right? But I mean, how can you sort of question the music, right? How can you, like Judd was saying, right, the art style, right, and so on and stuff. I don't know if you've seen the Silksong trailer, Judd?
Yes. Yep.
You're seeing it right now on the screen, so. Well, it was a minute ago anyway. I just changed it now.
I'm just looking at the Sun's page freeze from the 1980s. So anyway, I can flip back to what you're
Oh my god!
For me, is that like what am I going to criticize about Hollow Knight and then tell them go away and improve that because then I'm kind of contradicting what I've said in terms of how fantastic that experience is. But as I said to you before, I just think that. And I'm hoping, right, because I don't know for a fact, so it's just supposition on my part, that they've gone away. And these guys, I think, you know, watching a few of their interviews, you know how they go about the creation process, and you know that they're not attached to their product, right? They're quite objective, and I think they're in a really good position. They'll have all the feedback that they possibly need, what people liked, disliked, or loved about the game. And I think it'd be mostly what people loved about it. And I think it's taking them time just to go out there and just like we talked about Raelia, right? Saying, hey, this is a mishmash of games. And I've said, well, look, there is a mishmash of potentially of games, but they've taken it to another level. And it's just about taking that hot Silksong to that next level. But I'm not creative in any shape, way, or form to say they should do this, they should do that, because I don't want to sit here and sermonize about that. The only thing I will say is that as long as I get the game 2 to 3 months before Raelia's, and that's only because I have a small chance to complete it before he does. And then I'll be good.
But if you can complete it without his help, that's even more impressive.
I just want to have.
I love it.
Call you. Judd, I have to ask you a question. Because I went through this, right, and painfully so. But have you had Indy message you and say, listen, I want you to take screenshots of your map and just ping them to me so I can see exactly where you are and how you progress?
No, I haven't, and I think it would probably end
I'm surprised.
Our relationship.
I thought that was a definite yes, to be fair.
That's more stalker for me. That's like, you know, that's a worry. I need a restraining order if that happened.
I think there's people in the chat who have maybe Meisuko, maybe, I don't know.
I'm having memory suppression
treatment.
Therapy.
Treatment, yeah, at the moment. Just so if you need to save up, Judd, I'd recommend you do so. Take out a loan.
I love it. Yeah. So yeah, I like it. Let's go to my man Judd. So you know, maybe you've got a perspective on it where you've been. I was fair enough to say you haven't been like locked into the game,
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair to say. You've enjoyed it and you think it's a beautiful game or whatever, but it's not locking you in. Would you say they could do anything to change that as from that perspective? I know obviously a lot of us guys loved it, but do you think that would be something that they would change to try and, or what would you change potentially to make you completely captivated?
Well, firstly, I think we're going to need an R18 rating on this podcast now. We've got VJ getting quite pubescent in the corner there, or a cold shower. One of the two would be good.
Yes.
He's on fire tonight. I'm loving it.
I love it. Yeah.
So descriptive as well. That's absolutely a thing of beauty.
It is indeed.
Adam Dill Pickle as well has picked up the game.
Okay,
chat,
cool.
So.
I was trying to work that out. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Yeah, so for me, this is it's not going to be a massive diatribe of thoughts on the game, because looking at the trailer and looking at what I said earlier, there was the three things that really needed for it to sustain and build on, like VJ said, to just build on what it does. Art style, music, and the way the game controls and feels when you're playing the game, and the exploration. And when you look at the trailer for this, and it's going to have all of that stuff. Do I think they need to radically change anything? No, because they've developed this and it's got such a fantastic community and following. It's probably going to be a bad decision to change something so radical that they could lose a lot of that following in the first place. So, as I say, I've still got a lot to go on Hollow Knight. I don't want to see crazy changes in the game. If they build on what they have and just give us more of that with some more, I mean, like the trailer says, new tools, new bosses and all that stuff, new environments, just build on what they've got and give the people what they want. It's much like when you look at a game like Gears, you don't want to go too far out of the formula, although you want to change things up but not go too far out, because you'll probably lose a lot of that community. But I think they hit it so right the first time round that no, I don't think they should be changing anything too much.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. I really want to hear what you've got to say, though, to be honest.
VJ,
could I just say something? Could I just say something, indeed? See, and you see that what Judd just said, right? Going from Gears 1 to 2 to 3, they don't change the formula radically. But I think that this transition, and I can't think of another example, so I'm so sorry if you guys haven't played it, but it's like nothing has fundamentally changed, right? The core pillars or the cornerstones of how they go about developing their games. But I think that the difference will be something like playing Bloodborne and then going over to something like Sekiro or Elden Ring. That's the difference. But it will be so familiar, but yet so vastly different.
Yeah.
Interesting. I haven't played those games.
In terms of music,
of
music, characters, environments, visual style, and so on and so forth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like totally. Like, I mean, if the Souls... Did you just say Souls games? Sorry about that. I tuned out a second. I think you said Souls games, didn't you?
Yeah, Bloodborne and Sekiro.
Yeah, I thought you did. Yeah. So yeah, like I think that's the thing. I think it is going to have the same, the core there for sure. I think it's going to feel a lot like it. Like for example, like Elden Ring. I have not played Elden Ring, but I've played like I've been playing Dark Souls 3 quite recently.
Yeah.
And it just looks the same to me. It's just open world. It looks exactly the same. Like, but. Not in a bad way, obviously Elden Ring has probably got an amazing vastness to it, but so does actually Dark Souls 3 and stuff like that. But it's, it's more linear, obviously. But yeah, they have the same feel to it, and that's, they're not going to change their archetype, which has become so popular with their crowd. It's their own way of doing things. It's not like they're not going to just suddenly change and make it like really easy or something like that. I dare to say that, because people will probably go, oh my god, you're gonna make it easy or something like that.
Are they gonna say it exactly like that?
They're gonna say like Kermit the Frog. Yeah,
that's impressive. Yeah.
But yeah, go VJ.
Just to your point there, so I've played Bloodborne and I've played Sekiro. And even Elden Ring is different. I have to say that, but I won't go into that. But what I will say that if you didn't know these two games from Team Cherry and you played Hollow Knight and then you went and played Silksong, you would know it's a Team Cherry game, even though they're vastly different. And correct me if I'm wrong here, because I'm not as well versed as you in terms of what Team Cherry have said already. But obviously, Hornet, in terms of her size, they've had to reconstruct the way that the levels are built, and because of obviously her combat abilities are very vastly different to that dude. That dude with that shade cloak thingy on his back. So,
the knight,
but you kind of get the drift. You kind of get my drift. The reason why I'm kind of pushing towards this is that because I'm still kind of jealous of Judd as much as Relyea is, but the thing is that we're going to have a Hollow Knight experience, but we're going to have the same thing, but it's going to be completely different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but
I'm trying to think of an
I know what
analogy,
you mean.
but
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's going to feel the same. Like, did you say you don't think Souls games are similar? Then I thought you said they were, and then you said they
I
weren't.
think Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring, and even the Dark Souls games before that, they're all quite vastly different. I don't know if you played Bloodborne and Sekiro.
No, I've played Sekiro, yeah, but I think Sekiro is similar. It's you've got the same inventory, the same everything. It's like, from what I can tell, anyway. I haven't played it. I've just watched it.
The music, character design, the lore, the visual style, and so on and so forth. Obviously the grappling hook and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's different. Obviously, there's elements, but that's the same again. That's probably quite similar actually to the Hollow Knight comparison, because you're a bit more athletic in Sekiro and you're a bit more athletic in Silksong. So it's like, I don't think those things are going to make a lot of difference. They're going to make it still feel. They're going to make it feel fresh, but they're going to make it also feel the same in the same way, which is the ideal setup. So it's going to feel like after a while, I think it won't feel any different, if you see what I mean. I think like after 2 hours or something, you'll get used to it, and then you'll be like, I'm comfortable in this world, or maybe even less. Because I have a feeling it's going to feel quite similar. You can still be able to do all the strikes in the same way, but there'll just be more athletic ability.
I was going to say it took me 2 hours to find my way out of dirt map.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And now you know how it's built, though, essentially. So I think you'll be equipped from the off, if you see what I mean. But I know what you're saying. No.
you know that obviously I don't have a channel that creates content like your good self. But I'll tell you what, if they ever make any teddies of some of those bosses in Hollow Knight, I'm just gonna buy one or two and set them on fire and post a video.
I took a turn at the end. Oh dear.
What about you, Indy? I think the chat would love to hear your dreams and hopes.
Oh, my hopes and dreams. Yeah, I mean, my hopes and dreams are that they just really go all in on the bosses as well. Again, you know what I mean? But it's obviously the bosses were amazing in the first one, and I just hope they keep that. I mean, I know it's kind of like it's like saying things what we want the same, but it's essentially, I really hope they have really creative bosses with lots of character, like the Dung Defender, that's really just like, ho ho ho, and all this. I don't know if you've met him yet, Juds, but VJ will know exactly what I'm saying. He's just got so much. He's like some Spanish or Mexican sort of. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, he's got like a real character to him, really jolly, and you just hear him as you approach him. You can hear him laughing, and then you get to him, and then you have to fight him. And I just really hope that I'm sure they will. The characters in the game will have loads of character and personality, you know what I mean, but and all that sort of thing. But yeah, what they've done is already created something amazing. I think they're just gonna sort of put little twists on things, like with the traversal is little twists, and but yeah, just don't know if there's gonna be some sort of weaponry where there's like a grenade thing in the trailer, isn't there? Do you think there's going to be quite a few sort of extra weapons and stuff that you can use?
Well, I think firstly, Lupa's comment, I want more intrigue and mystery. I would suggest tuning into VJ After Dark for that, because that's where you're going to find that sort of content.
Definitely.
I'm conscripting you in as my co-host there, Joe.
Awesome.
Oh, dear. Did somebody else?
Sorry, I'll let VJ tackle that question.
Yeah, that
I
question
think yes
actually
is the answer to your question about the.
Because I think you're going to be able to craft stuff quite a bit. I think that's part of the game, and you're going to be able to craft weapons and also of something along them lines. And there's also optional like side quests, I believe. So, how do you feel about that, VJ? Is that something that you think will help the game?
Yeah, I think it will. Look, I love crafting in video games if it's done in a way where you're not hunting around for the items for 5.5 hours farming and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I think that you know what, it's not about their games, but when you watch those two guys having a chat, and I know it's sort of few and far between you see their interviews, those guys just seem to have a very joyful way about them. Can I say that? And
Definite.
so, I mean, trust me, there's a lot of miserable developers out there as well, but
Yeah.
they just have a joyful way about them. And I think that is why I believe it doesn't matter what else they sort of, what other components they build into this project. I think they'll do it in a way which will be endearing and fun and joyful. And you know what game development's like, indie, right? A lot of you start off with your sort of, you conceive the project, everything you want to do, and then you try certain things, and they sort of work to a degree. Then you try to develop. Then you either have to get rid of that feature or dial it back. So what I'm trying to say is that whatever they try to do, whether it's what Miss Lupa was asking for or what you're suggesting, as long as it's done in a way where it's fun, I just have no issues and no qualms about Silksong, especially because Hornet's starring in it.
Yeah,
So,
and that's a big thing, isn't it? Because
as long as she's got a slightly packed blouse, I'm happy.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, boss wise, have you got a favorite boss from the original? Is there do you like the bosses in the game? Is that one of the things that you interested in?
See, when I first started chatting to you, and you mentioned, sorry about this, Judd, but do you remember you mentioned that place, the Colosseum?
Yes.
The way you sort of portrayed it to me, it really had me quite sort of nervous.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for playing it down, Indy. Yeah, great.
That's right. I love the Colosseum.
Don't let him do this psychological. You, Judd. I've been through it, trust me, and I've still got the scars. But there was one particular boss, who I'm talking about in terms of the DLC, right? And he had me on toast for quite a while, and I was so glad. I remember giving you a call, or we had a chat, and I said I'd finally done it. And you said, "Bugger, you must be above 106% then." Not a word of congratulations.
Oh yes. So, which one was that? That must have been. Was that Nightmare King Grim or something? I think.
I didn't want to mention it. Because obviously, it's like it's poor old Dad. He hasn't even played the game yet. But he's
that's his fault. Oh, I'm only joking.
That's all good. I'm loving the chat.
We want Judsy Baby. We want Judsy Baby to play it. That's what we want.
I'll tell you what, Indy. I was so glad, when I got past him and made him sort of pack up and leave Dirtmouth, right? Because then I was ready, right, to convert the whole of Dirtmouth into beach property, right?
That's amazing. Yeah. So, do you have a favorite boss in the game? Is that one is that your one because you feel that you enjoyed taking that one down?
That's the one I'll mention. Because the others, I'm just so wary that Judd is enjoying this game, and I don't want to say anything to spoil it for him. I've probably already done it.
Well, it's 5-year anniversary. I've got to say about that, guys. 5-year anniversary for Hollow Knight now. So yeah, 5 years. Spoilers is free game, isn't it? But no, it's only names anyway. It's not linked to anything, is it? So. But yeah,
Master Grimm, I'd have to say India, especially because you have to sort of battle him twice, right?
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. No, yeah.
I'm just wondering, I'm just saying, if I grow a tash like Raelia, will I get good at Hollow Knight? That's what I'm trying to...
If you do that as well as dedicate much time to the game.
I kind of think it's like the turban, right? Like that tash had mystical powers in it. I'm absolutely certain of it.
I love it. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just really up for it. I mean, out of interest, you guys, what did you vote for the release date? I know we've probably asked that before, but now we've got more perspective moving forward. The February has gone past now, VJ. So I think you had your hopes on that a little bit, didn't you? That it might actually come out.
I think I've had my guess in the past, and I think it'd be kind of like unfair for me to then have another guess. So now I'm sort of like we're in the, sort of like, I don't know, in the grace period of God or whatever you want to call it, in the hands of God really until this game comes out. So, but I think Judd mentioned, right, there's just so many games about right now to play and get through. So, I'm quite a patient person really. So I'm just just whenever it's ready to come out. As long as it comes out, I'll be happy.
Is that Team Cherry on the phone to someone?
Yeah, somehow they got my phone number in and they're saying, "Why haven't you finished our game yet?"
Yeah, it was that you.
Thanks
was
for
it?
that.
I couldn't tell. I love it.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. No worries.
For me, as I say, I am just so looking forward, right, to sort of play Silksong and undress Hornet's Journey along with you, Indy, and Judd and Miss Looper.
Love it. I've just got to say, I put it in the chat. What's your favourite
really
Hollow Knight boss into the chat? And I've seen so many good answers. So we've got, where was the top one? David Bowie first. David Bowie, the first joke answer. Okay, moving on past that one. That's a great answer anyway. We've got Dung Defender fan from Blizmo, my man. I did say I like Dung Defender as well. Pure Vessel as well. Pure Vessel from Adam Dill Pickle. Great name on that as well. Your personal name. But yeah, Pure Vessel is awesome. I think that is an amazing boss fight, and it's just really emotional. I find it almost like saddening to fight him and take him down. It's almost like conflicting, you know what I mean? But yes, I think it's magnificent, great music at that point. And also, who else did we have? We had Ori with...
Yours,
Sorry?
I was going to say, what about yours?
But mine, yeah, I mean, that's why I was saying Dung Defender for character, but I think I like Soul Master as well. I do like Sisters of Battle. What's the original name of theirs in the game? I've forgotten. It's totally gone from my brain. We talked about it earlier.
Mantis Lords?
Mantis Lords, thank you very much, my brain. Yeah, Mantis Lords, aka Sisters of Battle. Sisters of Battle is the harder version of them. So yeah, they are great as well. Great music on that one. There's so many, it's tricky. I mean, like Pure Vessel is good, but yeah, there's a lot. But let's read out a few more of these. Hornet second fight, that's a really good one at Kingdom's Edge, isn't it? So from Ori, and where are we? Any others? Meisuke. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I just want to give an honourable mention to who's that guy you rescue a few times and then you face him? I think it's in the second round of the Colosseum. Is it
Zote, yeah. Yes. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's the fight with him. The one where you fight him. Sorry, you go.
No, I was just saying, that kind of incidental humour and then the culminating humour.
Exactly.
I want more of that.
It's amazing the way they do that, because it's very dark in a lot of ways, isn't it, the game? And then they've got that sort of comedy in there. The Zote the Mighty fight, that's really, really, really cool, actually. I enjoy that one. When you have to get all the stuff for the girl, isn't it? I've forgotten the name of. And then you have to go downstairs, don't you, in her little bit where she like is obsessed with him, and she have to fight her, and she's in the background of the fight. Do you remember that one? It's classic. It's classic. It's a good fight as well, actually. He's just really all over the place, like fighting. But anyway, we've ruined the spoiler being for Judd's now, but he will forget all of this anyway.
Oh, well, I can't remember my own name most days, so my memory's awful.
It's all good. But yeah, some great answers on that. I'm going to drop... What did I last drop? Did I drop something? Drop my pants. Yeah. So, yeah. So, what did you say, VJ? Didn't want to put a date on it anymore, or did you give us a date for the release?
Yeah, India. I don't want to put a date on it. I just want to say I'm really looking forward to it. And I think you're right that they're just waiting for Judd to finish it, Hollow Knight first, and then they'll let it out.
Oh dear.
That's what it is. Yeah. So we're all waiting on you, Judd.
Listen. I'm glad it's Judd. I mean, it could have been Stubbs.
Oh my God, no chance. Sorry, Stubbsy.
Stubbs can barely finish a sentence, let alone a game.
Oh my God, Stubbsy, we don't mean it.
He's still playing Song of Iron.
Oh dear.
I've said some sort of suspicious things today, shall we say? But that was way below the belt.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
Love it.
He's a good.
So drop in Borderlands 3 into the chat now, guys. If you want it on Steam, grab it right now before anyone else.
I've got a question for you.
just 1 second. And also the add-on to make it the director's cut. So that'll be the whole thing. If you grab both of those codes, you'll have the whole thing together. Cool. Yeah, VJ, what was he going to say?
No, Stubbs just messaged me privately. He just wanted to know if you thought Gears of War was better than Hollow Knight or vice versa.
I love it. Well, yeah, that's the tricky one, isn't it? Yeah, Gears of War is like the blockbuster Hollywood movie. That's his, and I'll let you decide how I feel about that because of that. It's like I don't know. It's like a
substance.
Yes, exactly. No, it's all right. Actually, they do the emotion and a little bit in the early ones. Not too bad, actually. They do quite well on that. But yes, no, Hollow Knight, Silksong, looking forward to it. Most of the people think second half of 2022 for the release date based on our poll. So I'm wondering if that's got any substance. Juds, my man, when do you think it's going to release?
I think it's going to be the second half of 22.
Is that what you're voting for?
Nice. I did vote for that.
Nice.
But I would 100% say just when it's ready. For everybody's sake that loves this game, just do it when it's ready, honestly. Don't release it early.
Definitely. That's a great shout. Yeah, no.
Andy, yourself?
Me. Oh, it's tricky. I hate to sort of say it, but I don't know.
You ask me and Judd and everybody in the chat to give a precise answer. And when it comes to you,
it's about to say it.
If
you let me finish the sentence, I was about to say, I hate to say it, but 2023, you just cut me off. How dare you? Like, I mean, 2023 is what I'm fearing, I guess. But yeah.
Is there a reason why you feel like that?
I don't know. It just feels like we haven't heard from them. I mean, okay, here you go. Do you think we should hear from them? Do you think we should hear anything from Team Cherry, or are you happy with them being just quiet until? Because I think they're gonna rise up and just say hello, it's ready in 4 weeks' time or something. You know what I mean? Would you rather be hearing from them? Because some people were like, what did we hear recently? There was something, wasn't there? What was it again? Oh yeah, William Pellon. That's his name, isn't it? That's the developer, one of the Team Cherry guys. I think he said we're working on Silksong, and that was it, or something in a tweet. Do you know what I mean? You know, literally, I think it was like, and everyone was like, "Oh my god," making videos about it. I think it literally just said we are still working on Silksong, and I don't want to say anything more because I don't think it was anything more, if you know what I mean. I'll have to try and dig it out, but yeah, literally there was a tweet and people did a bit of a video on it just to say it's still coming. But yeah, I mean, I was never in any doubt that the game is still being made. Some people were like, you see it on Twitter sometimes, don't you? Like, oh my god, it's Silksong's dead and all this. In like, someone's like, I'm looking forward to Silksong, and then another person's like, Silksong's dead. Obviously they're joking or whatever, but come on.
Well, I think it goes back to the fact you've got two types of people if you really boil down.
Yeah.
You've got joyful people and you've got miserable people. And then the only thing that I would say, and I don't know what you guys think about this, but look, the Nintendo Switch is obviously really popular, and I don't know Australia, and I don't know about Australia, but over here in America, right, during the summer, most people are outdoors because it's so hot over, especially on the West Coast and even on the East Coast. And so, the Switch is your go-to system. So, and even when I came across, I told you some girl, she was 15 years old before I come, and that had done like 104, 105% in the game.
Right.
And she said, look, I like to go out with my Switch and I like playing Hollow Knight. So I don't know, and summer isn't like, sort of third quarter or fourth quarter, they're going to start getting really busy with some major titles. So I'm just wondering if summer release is a good timing for them, but I, of course I'm just guessing it because like you said, the game might not be ready till next year. But so the question I get for you, does it matter when it releases in terms of any part of the calendar year?
Yeah, good question. Personally, I don't think it matters, but then it may have a slight impact. So I guess it does matter in a way, if I'm honest. I mean, I don't know. I mean, let Judd go first.
A bit more.
Sorry.
Yeah, because
sorry, sit on the fence a bit more.
Yeah, you're definitely getting some splinters there. I think,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I personally don't think it does, if you wanted my answer, because I think the Hollow Knight community is just going to eat it up regardless. I
Yeah.
don't think there's a massive crossover between some of the, quote unquote bigger stuff that might release at the same time, or a particular season. I think it's just going to be so anticipated.
Definitely, I totally agree with that. That's where my first part of my answer came in, which was I don't think it matters. But then the other part of it was, are they aspiring to get a wider audience this time?
In terms of what, on PC and Switch, or you?
No, in terms of people who aren't already fans of Hollow Knight, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So to appeal to people, new fans of Hollow Knight. Do you see what I mean? So what do you think then? You think it's still a no? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think I guess the answer was kind of looking to eke out of both of you was that speak to the strength of the community, because I don't know. I mean, I know it's strong, and I know it's there, I know it's ever present, but I don't know how the loyalty and the fierceness of that community is towards such a beloved game, or and so on and so forth. And the other thing is that I'm thinking whether it might actually end up being one of the launch titles if Nintendo launch a new system next March. I don't know. There's so many different ways of guessing and hypothesizing and speculating that I kind of don't want to go down that road, because now I'm like watching the trailer, and after we finish this podcast, I'll probably watch it 10 times before I get to go back and go back to playing Elden Ring. So I'm just glad that that tweet that you mentioned that they're still working on, and that's good enough for me.
There is, it does kind of reassure some people, I guess, but I never had any doubt anyway, to be honest with you. But some people will get a little bit worried, I suppose. But
you know what I'd do, Indy?
Yeah.
If I was to give them some marketing advice, which is a really bad idea because I'm crap at that sort of thing. But what I would do, if you're talking about expanding audience and things like that, the next time you see it, I would show it on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I would put that in people's minds. Obviously from the Switch side as well, but the Steam Deck's coming out, it's new, it's hot.
Yeah.
And then you put this on it and go, oh yeah, by the way, this is obviously going to play on the Steam Deck. I think that'd be a pretty good partnership. It
would be great, definitely. That's a good shout. I guess, I don't know, they could do that now, but I suppose because it's not ready, I don't know whether they would put it on as a showcase right now, but maybe when it comes out, they'll do that for sure, definitely. Like a lot of the companies have been doing, if you know what I mean. But it's a good...
When they're ready to show it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when I would do it, for sure.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people saying with the verified for Steam Deck and all that, it runs great on Steam Deck, and they show it on Twitter or whatever. That's definitely a great shout. I'm a
bit out of the loop on the Steam Deck. Is it out, and has it shipped quite a large number of units?
It's literally out today. For the first day is so reviews will be out now. So based on today, people get an email from today if they're in the first part of the queue, if you see what I mean. So when people pre-order, and if they pre-ordered early on, they'll be in the front of the queue, and they'll get the email first. I didn't pre-order straight away, so I'm still waiting on an email. But for the people in the first part of the queue, they'll be shipped out on the 28th, so they'll get their Steam Deck soon, basically, for the people in the front of the queue. And for people like me down the line, we'll get an email whenever, I guess. So depending on how quickly, because what happens is you get a 3-day window to check out the item. So as in buy the item. So you get that email. If you don't buy it within 3 days, you lose your place in the queue. Potentially people will get nudged up the queue, and if the other people don't check out. So maybe that could happen. I might get an email at some point relatively soon.
If you hang around with Indy too much, he ends up costing you £500 as well.
And Judsy
pre-order one as well. The last stream we did, you and Luke just talking about it. Just
you should have saved that £500 for therapy, I'm telling you.
I think solicitors might be where that money's going, VJ.
And shout out to Blizmo, who has pre-ordered one as well. Quarter 2 2022 is what his says. And also shout out to Blizmo as well, because of him being such a big Hollow Knight fan. I've found out on Twitter he's got quite a collection of Hollow Knight stuff going on, which I saw in a photo. So awesome stuff. I think he's a big lover of the game, so awesome to see. There's a lot of great people in this chat. Thank you so much all for being here. Great people who are sharing in the goodness of Hollow Knight, and that's awesome. I definitely love that. But yeah, so you're looking forward to getting yours, Judd. So I mean, what was it? If it's say Q3 for you or something, or where are you in the queue? Do you know?
Do you know what? I can't remember. I'll check it. But yeah, I was, last time we talked, and we talked about all the advantages of the thing, and the fact that the hardware is so powerful in such looks like such a well-built device. Yeah. And the reviews that have come out have certainly backed that up. It certainly looks like it packs a punch for the money. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it now.
Yeah, it's good to see all these like reviews coming out, people talking fondly of it. Jeff Grubb was all over it. Did you see that video?
Yeah, absolutely.
He was in love with it. He wasn't. He was properly in love with it. He was a bit tired in that video.
I worry for that device, to be honest with you. I hope he wears protection as well. So.
Yeah, it was, definitely. But
even Richard Ledbetter from Digital Foundry, I think at one point he said, we gave it both barrels and it came out, it passed all the tests.
Nice. So, I haven't seen that one yet.
I think this thing's going to be great. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's Pixel Slapper said he looks tired, but yeah, he was maybe in a state, old Jeff Grubb. But I think because by the sound of it, he plays a lot of Switch, so it's going to kind of replace that for him. So that's probably why he loved it so much. But sorry, VJ.
No, I was just going to say, I'm just watching your screen at the moment. I'm saying, would you like to see some more event scenes in Silksong, like the one we're seeing now throughout the game?
Yes, good question. Because this is the demo, by the way, that could have been played that I didn't actually get a chance to play, which I regret greatly. I was at an event where this was at, and I just can't believe I didn't, because it was so crowded, and I just ended up missing out on it, which is just bonkers, because I should have just waited the whole day there basically to play it. Anyway, but it was in the Nintendo area, so that's again one of the reasons why I think it's going to be Nintendo marketing. But I would like to see something, I guess. But it's funny because they've shown quite a massive chunk in this demo, haven't they? And this was played by the public, this demo as well, as I just said. And then it's just nothing for ages, isn't it? That's probably the reason. It's the cadence, isn't it, of what they've shown. Maybe that's what's taken people back. Would you agree?
I kind of meant not in terms of the demo, in terms of the animation sequences that sort of portray the story and the situ, because I really like the opening sequence before the actual gameplay sequence.
I see what you mean. So you'd like to see more cutscenes in the game?
Yeah, I call them event scenes rather than cutscenes.
Yeah. I would love that actually. Yeah, because there's only a couple, isn't there? Really, in Hollow Knight the original, isn't there? There's like where you see. Where you see Hornet at the statue, isn't there? That bit, which I was got in my intro, and you've got obviously the end bit at the start. There's not that many, is there? Which I definitely would like to see more.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you because whether you think it would spoil it or you would really welcome it, because I that's one thing I was kind of now looking back, and thinking about the game and seeing this is that I would like to see more if it doesn't ruin the pacing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think I would like to see more because based on what we see on this this gameplay, that opening scene where she falls and everything, and she's captured in the cage thing, that looks super cool.
Mm-hmm.
More
Definitely.
of that would be awesome, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would be. Sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, on a customization option where you can change Hornet's outfit to all different types. But anyway, start the ship going on.
Would you like one where you could take off the dress? Sorry.
Judge, he said that, not me. Judge, witness.
Yeah, I've got no defense for him.
Oh my god.
You know what, Chad? Before we came onto the show, because I DM'd Indy and I said, Indy, look, is it going to be okay if I have a couple of beers before I come onto the show? Because it'll be a very different DJ. And he said, just go for it. So it's not it's not an excuse, but just so you know the fact.
Oh, I'm all good with it. It's fantastic.
Oh dear. I've got one cheeky cider and that's all I needed. That's not very much, is it? Oh dear.
I've
Yeah.
definitely not been the one, sort of tormenting everybody about, going around flashing at people. But
Let's see if I think I saw something going on in the chat a minute ago. I didn't read out. Yeah, so Assassin Luba said she doesn't think it really matters because this is regards to the question earlier about what was the question earlier? I've totally forgotten now.
the release date.
That's
the
it.
Release date. Yeah.
If you're hyped, you're hyped. That was regards to the release date, was it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, that speaks to the strength of the community and the love people have for the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, it's like whenever it comes, as long as it's, they spend all the time they need, which I've been saying all along, and make sure it's the best it can be, which I definitely feel that they're going to do. And, I definitely feel like it's going to also be just all of a sudden, pretty much, there's just going to be time. I think this is why I think it's a bit like, I'm feeling like February 2023 might be it, if you know what I mean. I don't know. That's a long time.
Is that enough time, Judd, for you to finish Hollow Knight?
Possibly. Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, the only reason why I say it, because this is a serious note. So I was going to buy Elden Ring. I wasn't entirely sure because I didn't really want to go through the whole experience on my own. So removable sanity, Masuko, and so on, set up a DM, and we're playing it sort of at launch. So it was only the fact that if it does come out any time between now and 2023 or whatever, because we all seem to think that it's not going to come out any later than 2023, which is something, is that just having a community, because I know Miss Lupa and then you've got Luke and so on and so forth, we're all playing it at the same time. I think it'll be a wonderful experience to share things at that time, because and Indy introduced me to the game and I was playing it so long after him, I kind of felt a little bit out of sync, and that's probably why he tortured me so much on DMs and Xbox Live. So that's the main reason why I don't want to sort of delay playing it. But if I know that you guys are playing at the same time, it's nice to share and discover and together.
It is,
right?
yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I suppose you feel like you're a little bit on your own and stuff. But yeah, I thought it wasn't the right thing. It was Lupa's just said it was what time of year the release date should be, if that matters. That was what the question of it doesn't matter, basically. Yeah, so she thinks it doesn't really matter, and I agree with that in a lot of ways, definitely. I think they're going to get a massive reception anyway. I think it's going to be, for a lot of people, it's just going to overtake their lives, and I hope it does kind of reach out to some people, some new people, but at the end of the day, it's a bit like Souls again. If it's not your sort of thing, it's not your sort of thing.
Actually, Indy, I was just going to say another thing. I was just watching the stream again. You see that the environments are slightly more interactive.
Yes.
Incidentally interactive, and
definitely.
It's just these little things. I just think it just builds out the game to
It's subtleties, yeah.
Like we were saying, that the sum of its part is greater than the sum of its parts. Those things are just going to accentuate that phrase in itself, right?
100%.
To such a high degree.
100%, definitely. Someone can hear me typing, apparently. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. We'll wind it up very soon. But yeah, just I'm just actually quite intrigued, just to quickly go off topic, and just want to hear about VJ's experience with Elden Ring, if that's all right. How are you enjoying it, sir?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal looking game. I've heard people talk about visuals and stuff like that. I think you've got to just look at it. It's amazing. And Judd was talking about music, and I didn't expect the kind of music. I don't know how best to describe it, because I'm actually opposite to Judd. I'm not a very musical person in terms of being able to describe it. But so far, it's got me hooked, and I've played it for 3 hours this morning.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a phenomenal title for me. I know it's not for everyone, but look, there's 20,000 games out there you can choose from, right? But
yeah, so
far I'm really enjoying it, I'm enjoying the challenge, and I think that the studio's been at this for 15, 16, 17 years, and
exactly.
It's like any game, right? People complaining about the difficulty and this, that, and the other. Actually, if they don't know, you can have a mage build, so you can actually combat from distance and cheese bosses and enemies and so on and so forth. much like you did in Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
So,
I got the rocket launcher. There was secret rocket launcher in the game.
And for me, you remember when I was saying to you, look, Indy, I haven't played a 2D platform for a long time, and I'm a little bit nervous about my eye-hand coordination and so on. So I'm a lot older now, and so on and so forth. And what I came to realize after playing Hollow Knight, and I think it's true for this game as well, it's just go back and remember what it was like trying to learn to drive a manual car.
Right.
And then there comes a point, right, where you're not worried about oversteering and hitting other cars or this, that, and the other, running over people like Indy does. There comes a point when it becomes second nature, right? And then when you drive from point A to point B, sometimes you don't even know how you've done it, right? And that's what some of these games are like. That's what I found with Hollow Knight, and I think I've already played enough of Elden Ring to know that by myself, like understanding the button configuration, the timings, and so on and so forth. And I experienced the same thing with Bloodborne. So at the end of the day, it's not like I want to say, go and play this game, it's great. It's a case of, listen, I'll just implore you that if you're open-minded, just go and investigate it for yourself, and who knows what you might uncover. And I think that's the only advice you can give someone, right? Because gamers are creatures of habit, right? And they're kind of, very sort of tight, buttoned up, sort of nun outfits that they wear, right? And they're just devoted to their own sort of, convent rules, so to speak. I don't know where this is going. But
No, totally get what you're saying. No, I think again, you need a slightly different mindset as well. Though that's the thing with Souls games. You can't go in and then just be like. You need some patience. You need to have a bit of lateral thinking.
You're not exactly going to be Ken and Ryu, right? Shooting fireballs and dragon punches,
exactly.
And just, annihilating everyone. But you can learn to do that, and you can become that.
Exactly. It's a different approach. Like it's a more thoughtful approach, if you know what I mean. That's the thing. Some people treat it like a different style of game when they don't try and understand what the game is all about. But yeah, how about yourself, Judd? So have you played many Souls games?
I haven't played any of them.
No.
So I can't really comment on this, to be honest with you. It looks amazing. But yeah, it's just one of those that's passed me by over the years, and maybe when I get Hollow Knight finished, I might go back and start those. Who knows? Yeah,
exactly. Hollow Knight is a good little prep for it in a way, because would you agree with that, VJ? Because you've played more Souls games than I have. Would you agree? Like,
could you just repeat that again?
Sorry. I said, would you agree? Like, kind of like Hollow Knight gives you a good little preparation for Souls games in a way, or I suppose vice versa in a way. They've got a similar atmosphere, and also the challenge of it can be punishing in the same way. I mean, they are classed as Souls like we said on the other day on the other podcast. But would you agree?
I think it's about. I don't want to compare 2D games to 3D games, but I think I can only speak for myself. And you know me, Andy. Sometimes if I love a game, I'll play it for 100 hours or 60 hours or 200 hours or whatever. And it's mostly what I find is about reprogramming my eye-hand coordination, especially my hand coordination, in terms of understanding the button layout for specific moves and so on and so forth, like reprogramming my hands. Like I said to you, like learning to drive a car all over again. And once I've done that, I find I enjoy games, tremendously. And how many times I backtracked in Hollow Knight just to hear certain music, see certain environments, or duff up certain enemies because I've got a longer nail, shall we say? And
do you know what? Do you know what's? Yeah, I got. That's good. I like it. Sorry, I left you hanging. Go on. You carry on. You carry on. Was that your punchline? Sorry, were you going on?
No, that was it really. So it's not about punishing games, as I say to you. They can be punishing initially, but the thing is, if you're willing to invest your time and you're not just sort of brainwashed to pick up a gun and start going like pretty much every other game is, like you were saying, right? Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah, exactly.
But, and if you're willing to give it time, right, you'll just uncover a layer of intrigue and mystery and wonderment that it's very rarely found in video games. And that's why the people that have sort of had a sustained period of time and invested themselves in Hollow Knight, they've come to love it for what it really is. And it's not a case that these games will always beat you up. There comes a point in these video games when the tables are turned, right? And you're no longer the student, you're the master, if that makes sense, right? Is that the right way of saying it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, definite.
And if I'm saying it incorrectly, if I'm wrong, if I'm saying it incorrectly, Judd, Judd, you play games enough, right? You can, sort of. We're investigating this together, right? Because it's only my perspective.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. Yeah.
Definite. No, totally. I've forgot what I was going to say now about a minute ago.
VJ, you get a pay rise?
It's Luke who's always asking for his paycheck. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, Luke couldn't make it today. He's not feeling very well, so if you send him your well wishes. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. But yes, I mean, is there anything else you want to explore before we wind things up, guys?
No, but I do want to go and play Hollow Knight now.
Oh, that's what we want to hear. That was the whole objective to it. To be 100% honest. How far are you in then? Let's have a little quick one. So you're about 5 levels. So you've got City of Tears, have you? Is the rain?
The currency. I called the currency in this game rocks, and you were like, "What
rocks.
are you talking about?" I said, "You pick up them little rocks and buy things with it." My memory is awful.
I love it.
I don't know.
Is it raining where you are though? And it's a piano piece.
Yes, there is rain.
It's got to be City of Tears.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, in all seriousness, I think I have got that.
Although the thing is Geo is the currency, by the way.
Geo.
As policeman just shouted out. What you could. The only thing is, right, and the good thing, I was talking to Ruben Sanity about this the other day, in a way, because he was saying about Elden Ring being more accessible because it's open world, and I feel the same about Hollow Knight, because if you are, you face a challenging boss which you just can't beat, you can go off and, level up, essentially, get an additional health points, essentially, mask shard, whatever. Just level yourself up, get another ability, and come back to that boss later, and then you'll be stronger to beat them. But yeah, that's the good thing about the kind of open world nature. I think it's a similar. I don't know about Elden Ring how it works in that regard. Probably a similar way though, that you can maybe go and beef yourself up, as VJ might say, and come back to a particular boss, because some people find different bosses harder for other reasons or whatever. So you can just approach it, and it's you don't have to just get stuck against a brick wall. You can go around and try other things, come back to them later, and then beat them. Would you agree? That's kind of
pick up rocks.
Pick up rocks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, facts. Yeah, you can. There is. It's not a matter of grinding, but you can do that a little bit in Hollow Knight. You can, just go around. You can abuse the system of walking into a room, killing some creatures, picking up the geo, walking out of the room, walking back into a room. Not that you want to do this; it'd be a bit boring, but. Because it's the same in Souls games. Another similarity here for you, VJ. When you step away from a room, the characters respawn. If you go back and forth into it, the characters reappear. So it's the same in Hollow Knight, and you can use that to keep getting more money. So it's the same.
And it's similar to Elden Ring, right? So if you're in a specific location, if you rest at a grace point, then the enemies will respawn in that specific area for you. But then obviously, depending on how much currency that you earn in terms of being able to upgrade yourself, the rooms and so on, so forth, you do come to a point of diminishing returns, and then you obviously can move on. You don't have to play it like that. But just a quick note on companies like From Software, which we'll talk about another time, and obviously Team Cherry, right? Very rarely do games come along or studios come along, right, that go towards improving the industry as a whole in terms of making people sit up and take measure of what actually these guys are doing in terms of being able to sort of produce a game that accentuates and sort of punctuates the gaming industry to be better. So it doesn't matter whether you're a fan or not. You may not like their games, but you can certainly respect them in terms of the content that they churn out. Did I make any sense there?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, no, 100%.
The beer talking for sure.
The beer talking. I love it. No, it's been awesome. Yeah. So, anything else you want to chat about? I think we should probably wind things up. Anything else?
I just wanted to. Just a quick one was that Miss Looper put a message in, and she said she's looking forward to playing Silksong. Awesome. Along with all of us at launch. So she feels the same way about a group of us playing. So hopefully that was something that will come to fruition.
It'll be awesome. Yeah, most definitely. Do you think it's going to get a multi-platform release then, or is it just going to be Switch and PC as it is?
I thought you was going to say Game of the Year.
That's a good question as well. Do you think that too? Yeah, we can finish on those two questions. Do you think it's going to just be Switch and PC as it is announced only for those at the moment, or do you think they're going to have other platforms at launch?
Judd, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll answer that. Yeah, for sure. Thanks. So I think part of the delay, or not necessarily the delay, but part of why it's taking a bit long is they're going to hit more than that this time round.
Oh, really?
That's my feeling. Yeah, because it's such a massive audience, and it only makes sense now it's so popular. So yeah, I think it will hit more.
That would be cool. So yeah, and VJ, what do you think?
I don't want to sermonize in terms of what they should or shouldn't do, but if it's available on Xbox on day one, I'll be really happy. If I have to get a Switch, or I've actually got a Switch, but if I have to play it on the Switch, I will. But obviously, I want to play it in its optimum level, so it would have to be on a PC, which I don't have. So
time to buy a PC. Looking... Time to buy a Steam Deck.
Oh no! I want to play it on the big. I want to play it on the big screen.
Another Steam Deck sold, Juds.
Absolutely. You can plug the Steam Deck into a monitor, VJ. So
you can, yeah.
You're covered.
Really, I might have to ask you guys about that. But yeah, I think I'm with Judd. Is that A, I don't mind, and B, if it is on more formats, more the merrier, and hopefully, like you were saying, India, expose the Silksong and Hollow Knight franchises to to a wider audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good. It's a good shout. It would be cool. Most definitely. It's interesting. They've only announced the two, but maybe that's just because they're the ones they did. I think it was just PC, and then it was Switch last time, so not simultaneous. But it's a different story now. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. At the moment, just Switch and PC announced. And the other question was, will it be Game of the Year? That's quite a tough question to tackle, but we just may as well do it to finish off for fun. Do you think it might be Indie Game of the Year? Do you think it might be overall Game of the Year? Judzilla, baby.
Okay, Indie baby. I think this year, if it releases, I don't see anything beating Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Even Starfield, maybe. I think Elden Ring's got overall Game of the Year wrapped up. Whichever year it releases, I think it will get Indie Game of the Year for sure.
I agree.
A bold statement, but
yeah, I think 100. I think 1,000,000% for that. For
a
the
million
indie.
percent.
A million. That's a lot of percent.
Take that to the bank.
Yes, indeed. And VJ, sir.
Yeah, my heart wants to say yes, it will, regardless of Elden Ring.
Really, yeah, nice.
Into reality.
So I love that.
I got to step back into reality and say it'll probably be God of War if it comes out this year.
Right. Oh, do you think God of War will be Elden Ring then?
I'm a huge God of War fan, and look, at the end of the day, whatever wins Game of the Year, hopefully. I don't know exactly how these things are devised or constructed and how they come to a conclusion and all that. At the end of the day, I think we're just living in. People say we live in a golden age of video gaming, and we do. But for me, it's like I look back 30 years and I'm thinking, well, every year was a golden age. Golden age of video
totally,
gaming.
Yeah. It's always getting better, isn't it? Yeah.
It's ever present. So yeah, I'm with Judd in terms of the beer aside. It's Elden Ring and Indie Game of the Year if it releases this year, and regardless of Starfield, as good as that may or may not be, but it may not even be at the cutoff of may not be released in time of the cutoff period, like for when the candidates need to be in terms of Starfield. And and I'd love to get your opinion on the first question, Indy, and on the second one.
Yeah, so I'm not so convinced that it will be a multi-plat for some reason. I just think they're trying to keep everything quite sort of like streamlined still, even though they're quite big now. They're trying to keep things like simple, but I could be wrong. It would be nice if everyone gets it all at once, if you see what I mean. I don't know. I don't know why. They've obviously made a ton of money, so but I just don't know why. But I just feel like they want to play things a bit safe still. They're not like the kind of people who, so imagine like, when like people get really rich all of a sudden and then they're still the same. They're them kind of people. Do you know what I mean? I think they're totally.
You mean like your good self?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I wish. You know how you see like artists, and then like who you see some people who get really rich, and then they get like the Lamborghinis or whatever. But I think that it's almost like I can imagine Team Cherry still driving the same car as they did before they got more money. If you see what I mean.
It's not gone to their head.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Totally. Yeah, I think that they'll be just keeping it real, and maybe that's one of the reasons as well. It'll all across the board. It might just mean that they'll do Switch and PC as a safe thing first, and then PlayStation and Xbox after. But could be wrong. But I have a feeling that might be the case. And the other question, well, so yeah, definitely indie game of the year. It will 100% be whatever year it releases, in my opinion. Hands down, it's got that wrapped up. And if I was in charge, you know what, it would be overall probably. But obviously we haven't played it yet. But this is just obviously a bit of fun. But yeah, it's a tough one. I don't think it will. If I'm predicting what will happen, I don't think I would predict that it would win overall. But it could win some of them. It could, like for example, when IGN they had Hades as their overall game of the year. So it's on that level, isn't it? So why not?
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's maybe
on that level.
It's maybe even beyond that level. To be fair,
well, that's better.
That's better. Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about my personal judgment level. I'm talking about, like an objective kind of level based on the pedigree of Supergiant versus Team Cherry, if you see what I mean. So yeah, in that regard, I feel like it could definitely take a few of the overall game of the years. But are we talking about the game of the year awards, the game awards, basically with Jeff Keighley here right now, or are we talking?
You asked the question, Indy. So are we?
I guess.
I think you were originally.
Yeah. So I think for that one, I would say it probably won't win the game of the year on that one. I'd love to see it though. That would just be the best moment. But
would be good.
Yeah, I think it'll be nominated.
Yeah,
but I don't think it would win the overall game of the year when it is whatever year it is. But yeah, I think it will win best soundtrack, and that's shout out to the Venom in the chat. I think it could win best, sound and all that sort of stuff. That's a great shout. So yeah, I think it could win several awards, but maybe not the overall game of the year. But I think it like in some sort of more, like
so much competition next year.
Yeah, I was going to say some other outlets. I think it would win game of the year in some of those, if you see what I mean. The more like, I don't know,
prestigious outlets.
Yeah, I was going to say, the less sort of like, what do we call it? Sort of like hyped up, Hollywoody vibey, you know what I mean? Less, a bit more like of a more artisan or whatever, if you know what I'm saying. I'm talking crap now, but the more artistically focused awards, it might win. Like, is there a Brit Award one or something? Or not Brit Award. BAFTAs, that's the one I'm looking for. Brit Awards. Yeah. The BAFTAs, that's the word I was looking for. The BAFTAs, yeah. It could win something like that.
I think that Team Cherry is probably just looking out for just one award, and that's the Indie Gamer Podcast.
Yes, and unfortunately that didn't actually happen this year, the Indie Games Awards. I was very sad because of my new job. It couldn't happen, I'm afraid. I'm really gutted about that. But yeah, it's a sort of window where you've got to do Game of the Year awards, and it's past now, so we're going to save up all our strength for next year, I think. What do you reckon, boys?
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's been awesome, guys. It's been so much fun. Shout out to Raelia, who was here earlier. Absolute honor and pleasure hanging out with you, my friend. If you're listening by any chance, or if you check out later. But yeah, I've obviously said it all before. It was awesome to hang with you, buddy. And yeah, shout out to the legendary chat, though, who have been hanging out throughout this show. So much fun. Oh, he is still what a legend he is. Thank you, my friend. You are awesome. It's absolute, like I say, bucket list tick off for me. Sorry if that makes you feel a bit weird, but it genuinely is. And yeah, we should do it again sometime, buddy. It would be awesome. Hope everyone's good with the family. But yeah, legendary chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out. And obviously, thank you so much to my man Judzilla, who I love doing the podcast with on the regular. Massive thanks, buddy. I hope you enjoyed yourself today. Where can people find you, sir?
Yep, thank you again. It's been absolutely awesome. The chat's been on fire. Brilliant chat. Some new people I've seen in there tonight as well, and some of the regulars. So thanks so much for coming and participating. It's been great. Find me on Twitter at Judzilla UK, and on YouTube I've got a music channel where I do original music and copyright-free music, and I'll write you something if you want something for a project. And covers as well. I've just done Mad World.
Nice.
Went down quite well. So go check that out.
Awesome.
And thanks very much.
No, thank you very much, my friend. No, definitely check out Judd's channel. It's absolutely awesome. Love his music, and yeah, really enjoy hearing all that stuff. And definitely hit him up, like he says, for sure, if you need any music done. So yeah, and finally, VJ, who's come in as a kind of honorary sort of panel member today, you could say, because it's always a pleasure to hang with you, especially when Hollow Knight is on the menu. Gotta have you on for those ones, my friend, and always a pleasure. Loved your takes, loved the humor. Thank you very much for being a part of it, VJ. Where can they find you, sir?
Like I only came onto Twitter so I could join certain podcasts and so on and so forth. I don't have a channel. I don't create content. So if you're going to follow anyone, I'm speaking to audience in the chat. Follow these two guys, Judd and the Indie Gamer. And Indy, yeah, thanks for having Raelia on today. It was fantastic. But special praise for you. The gravity, I think, of what you and your channel represent sort of always leaves me speechless. It's always fantastic and fun to be here. Thank you. And Relyea, hope to have a chat with you again soon when I'm stuck on the title screen of Silksong. Cheers.
Yeah, Silksong time is going to be Raelia time, I think. As well. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But yeah, thanks so much, VJ. Absolute pleasure, like I say. And yeah, been an awesome show today. I've really had a blast. I've been looking forward to it all week, and it definitely lived up to my hopes and dreams. And yeah, great to hear Raelia would like to come back on sometime. That would be awesome. We definitely have to make that happen. But shout out once again to the chat. I'm going to shout some of you guys out because you're awesome. It's been fantastic seeing so many great names in there. We had Pixel Slapper in the house. We had Assassin Looper, the legend. And who else did we have? Meisuko, another legend in the house. Great to see you as always, buddy. Great artwork on Twitter I saw as well. Great stuff. And we had Ori M&A in the house, a great supporter and fan of Hollow Knight as well. Thank you so much for being here. Who else did we have? We had Blizmo as well, and like I said, another big supporter of Hollow Knight. We had Adam Dill Pickle. Thank you very much for coming by. The Venom as well. Thank you for being here, buddy. And what else did we have in here? We had Soren Calder, maybe. Thank you very much for being here, my friend. So many great names. Lovely to see you all. Stubbs Gaming, I did indeed, my friend. Thank you very much. Darkness Gaming, thank you for being here. And we had Dyragonics, thank you very much for coming by, and everyone else who came by, you are awesome. I'm sure there's other names that I've missed. I apologize if I have, but absolute pleasure hanging out with you all, chatting indie games, chatting, you know, Silksong and Hollow Knight. Always a pleasure to do that. And yeah, very much looking forward to everything going forward. I just want to do a little bit of a kind of a mini announcement, but we're going to be doing more. I'm planning on doing kind of like some reviews kind of thing on the channel, but it's going to be done differently going forward. My reviews previously were very much edited and scripted and stuff. I'm thinking what I'm going to be doing now is having to work it in around a different schedule, which I've got, which is a bit more demanding. But I'm hoping to still keep going on reviews and do them a bit differently. And what it will be is more of a conversational review between two people. And yeah, going to see how that goes. Hopefully you'll enjoy. But yeah, it'll be nice to keep the reviews going because definitely enjoy doing those. And like I say, it'll be a mini sort of maybe 10 to 15 minutes max chat about the game. And yeah, like I say, hopefully going to make that happen if that's something you'd enjoy. And also I've got a couple other things in the pipeline for some one-on-ones which I'm going to start bringing in as well on the channel, which are going to be dives into specific topics which are a bit more streamlined. Obviously we'll be carrying on the Indie Games podcast and keeping that on the monthly, so look out for on Twitter as well for all of our you know, our information. My information is on the bottom of the screen right now, indie_gamer_01, and you can find everyone else's links down in the description as well. And yeah, thank you so much. Sorry for my ramblings at the end, but just wanted to give you a little bit of a fill-in on that. And yeah, looking forward to everything on the channel going forward. Definitely want to bring back a bit more regularity to the channel content. So thanks so much for the support, guys. Love being able to celebrate indie games with you all. And I will see you again potentially for something of what I've just mentioned in between, but otherwise another Indie Games podcast in approximately 3 to 4 weeks time. Like I say, follow on Twitter and it will be announced over there. Also the Discord as well, check that out in the description below. Finally, I am going to wind it up. Thank you so much everybody. Been an absolute blast, and I will catch you again real soon. Later guys.